Now that viewer voting is coming to a close, it's time for the experts panel to weigh in, and boy, are they going to weigh in. They're going to choose their top 10s, and their number 1 gets 25 votes, with their second place storm getting 20, the third getting 16. So it's certainly going to help one storm, or maybe several storms, get on their way to becoming the all-time number 1 for 2016. I'm now joined by John, one of our team members over in Massachusetts. Hi John, how are you?
I'm fine. Thanksgiving Day, and it's pretty cold over here, in 40s.
Being on Thanksgiving at the time, yes. Well, tell us about your meteorological or storm tracking background first.
I've been tracking systems since I was 4 or 5 years old. I've always had this fascination with weather, whether it be weather over here locally or in the tropics. More specifically, more often than not, I'm more off into the tropics, since it's just amazing how these systems down in the tropics manage to get their act together in such an organized manner, and up here systems are a bit of a mess. Per se. I mean, they look ugly in satellite, but still, definitely nor'easters look pretty good as well in satellite, because I don't know, it's something, it has that look to them, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It looks aesthetically pleasing to me.
So, you're on the experts panel. You've got your top 10 storms lined up. I don't think there's anything left to cover, so go through them. Start at number 10.
All right. Number 10 on the list is, ironically, me. Number 10 is Hurricane Dawn of 1994. The reason why I chose this storm, more or less, is because it is a very long tracking storm, tracking over 7,000 miles. I mean, and at the same time, it's a Category 5, but seriously, the Category 5 part does not matter when the system's traveled over 7,000 miles.
Okay, so that gets your 2 points. Ninth storm?
Well, ninth storm is Hurricane Patricia of last year. Why did I pick this storm? I don't want to sound, I didn't want to say the obvious reason of it being, you know, one of the strongest storms ever, but, you know, there are stronger storms out there. However, it's kind of surprising how strong the system was. It didn't cause the Category 5 category of damage. I mean, it didn't cause a whole lot, but it caused enough to be significant. I think it was like $300 million something at the end of the day for a Category 5, and the fatality count was quite low for a Cat 5. Very surprising.
And indeed for a landfall in Category 4 that it was. Number 8.
Number 8 is Typhoon Tipa 79. As we're going back a little bit into the Westpac with this system, it is the largest tropical cyclone to ever exist, over 1,100 miles in diameter. I mean, this thing was huge, and with a pressure of 870 millibars, the lowest pressure ever recorded in a system, it's only been rivaled by Patricia. Which rolling to number 7, Hurricane Hazel 54. Yes, this was a storm which was very peculiar in nature, starting off in the Caribbean and then tracking through Haiti. I think, is that what it did? And then it tracked up not too close to the Florida coast, but it made a strong Category 4 landfall on the Carolinas. I mean, and then it just booked it into inland. I mean, it did turn extratropical quite quickly, but regardless of tropicality or extratropicality, it still caused a lot of damage because its fast-moving scope and how strong its winds were. I think it was still hurricane force when it crossed the Canadian border. Number 6. Hurricane Sandy of 2012. You could probably beginning to see a pattern here, but excuse me, I'm from New England. Expect a little bit of a pattern.
It's my job to put in the geographical lack of bias, so go right ahead with what you want your top 10 to be.
Sandy, even though I have seen it before and I was in through it, it didn't do much damage up here, but it kind of ranked on the size of Tip. Not as big, but almost there. A pretty wide swath of tropical storm force winds. It was I think it affected 34 states with power outages. That's pretty widespread for a system, for a hurricane rather. But it did make landfall with an extratropical system. But regardless of tropicality, it still caused a lot of damage. Now, beginning to the top 5. This is where the good stuff comes in. Now, the last of our New England systems will be 1938 New England hurricane. Yes, the big one that ripped up the East Coast in 38. Category 5 in the tropics, only Category 3 up here at landfall. was one of those storms where it went fast up the coast. I think it was top forward speed was like 70 miles an hour, and it caught everybody by surprise. It was definitely one of those storms that you just didn't see coming. Number 4, Typhoon Mike of 1990. Possibly one of the strongest tropical cyclones to ever exist. I think one of my colleagues in the Force 13 team, Devin, clocked this system at over 200 miles an hour in his own personal analysis. And when you look at this thing on satellite, you're like, wow, that looks like a buzzsaw ripping through the Westpac. I mean, it was crazy. It just had all the defining characteristics on satellite of being just a very, very intense system. Number 3 will be the only system that's done this in the Atlantic. It has done a Wilma. We're looking at number 3, Hurricane Wilma of 2005. The most intense system that ever exists in the Atlantic, shattering Hurricane Gilbert's record of 888 millibars with a very low pressure of 882. The lowest, it held that lowest pressure record in the Western Hemisphere until Patricia broke it last year. It intensified very quickly. I think it jumped from the category 1 to a category 5 in 24 hours and had a 100 millibar pressure drop. And the eye on the system was so small. I mean, it looked like the picturesque pinhole eye of a hurricane that is just strengthening pretty quickly. It did, its eye kind of did, go from this like this. It got huge after it was done intensifying. It did slightly weaken to a category 4 landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula, but it didn't stop there at Yucatan. It picked up its forward speed and whacked Florida as a category 3. The last major hurricane to hit Florida.
And number 2 for 20 points.
We're going back. We're flying back to the Westpac with this number 2. It's not hurricane. Fail. Typhoon Haiyan of 2013. Possibly one of the worst West Pacific storms on record. Now, imagine taking a storm like Haiyan, a very strong category 5. In fact, the strongest category 5 in the Westpac officially, but, Typhoon Mike, my colleague's analysis is a lot stronger, but we'll not get into that. 195 miles an hour, 1 minute sustained winds. That is unseen. And it made landfall in the Philippines at that intensity. It didn't even drop a beat. Now, this is where my bias does come in. I actually do rate Katrina higher on the list than Haiyan. There's a reason why I did this. It was because it had a large historical impact on the United States. It was a system that managed to create over $100 billion in damage. No other system has done that. It pretty much set the bar we needed to reach in order to prepare for a system of that magnitude. And I just, when I saw the damage when I was like 7 or 8, when I was a kid, I was like, oh my god, what the heck just happened here? And then when I looked at it and I look at all the damage now, I'm like, that system was nothing to mess with. Even though it did peak as a Cat 5 and weakened to a Category 3 in landfall, categories did not matter again. Since the one thing that caused the system to be so memorable is that one of the levees on the Mississippi River Delta broke, causing massive flooding throughout New Orleans. I mean, it just takes your breath away.
Indeed, thank you very much, John, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Have a good day.
See ya.
Hello, this is Force 13 Live, and that is the latest score right now after the first of the experts panel votes. My name's Nathan Foy. I'm here again in the background, and we're also joined by the Skype team. Oh, we've got feedback there as well.
Hi, people.
Good evening.
Hello.
Well, John just did his votes, and it puts Haiyan at the top for now. There are many more to come, however, so it's certainly not conclusive by any means. So many storms could still go top. But what do you think of John's votes there? He went with Katrina as number 1.
I don't blame him.
Okay.
I don't blame him.
Well, hello to everyone, by the way, all the viewers who are eagerly awaiting which storm might win. The public voting closes at midnight, which UTC, which is just less than 2 hours from now. But Hank, you were going to say something there.
I think his list was pretty good. I was kind of sort of slightly annoyed that there wasn't one particular storm in there, which I kind of am kind of a big fan of. But regardless, overall, this list was pretty darn good. And of course, John was going to be in there.
Yes. Yes, why wouldn't it?
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Marcel, hello.
Hello.
How are you? On the
Fine.
final day of Hurricane Week. That is the latest board then. We'll bring that down to size. And you can see us lot here as well. Now, coming up in just a few minutes, Craig is going to put forward his votes live. Craig, have you been thinking about that?
I'm literally still thinking, and
Yes.
I am being literally one of the quickest. I've already got the 5 down.
Not bad. You're going with just 5?
Literally,
Okay.
This is going to be one of the tightest finishes ever. So prepare for that. If you hear rage, then that means I failed. If you hear celebration, that means I have done it. Oh, God.
Yes, so the experts have been granted a hell of a lot of votes, that's for sure. Maybe that's because we were expecting more from the public, who knows. But the experts are there to help push the storms towards figuring out which one's going to end up being number 1, certainly. And maybe the public vote will have a big hand in that. Patricia leads the public vote with 36, Hyan 31, Sandy 16, Katrina 14. But with the expert panel votes on top already, Hyan 51, Patricia 40, Katrina 39. We've tried to get as many diverse locations as possible, and hopefully we've done that.
Okay.
Hi, Marcel.
Sadly, I will be. Sadly, I need to go, but I will return in 1 hour, 2 hours, I think.
Okay. Well, we're here for the 3 hours till 1 a.m. Voting closes at midnight, of course, as I say. David, you're here as well. You're going to be putting your votes live in the last hour as well. You might tip it over the scales. How are you dealing with that possible responsibility?
Well, I'm just going through my top 10, and it's a tough choice, but I have the top 3, and I look forward to hearing the overall responses from the other expert panel members. And but as I said, it's been very, very tough.
Very interesting. And something I've noticed on the, just as one of our viewers mentions vote pseudolaw, it's been trending today actually, but it hasn't really gotten much higher up the pecking order, 7 votes to its name. And that's what we have for you. Well, Craig, you're due in just a couple of minutes. Have you figured it out?
I'll do that 9 and 10 spot.
You've
Oh,
figured out
God.
the 9th and 10th spot. Well, we'll get there shortly.
That should be the easiest part, but God. I think the viewers should try this. You guys
Come on,
should
you can do it.
You should rate this
Maybe
one.
you should. Maybe you should ask the viewers what should be number 9 and 10.
Dare I?
They will
dare
say
I
Joaquin
ask?
and they will say Joaquin and Matthew.
Oh, no.
Matthew
no.
isn't on top 100 this year.
Exactly.
I know.
If Matthew was on the
Right.
top 100, they'd probably put it number 1 just because it's so recent. I don't know. You can
Exactly.
put me wrong on that. Probably.
That's right, actually.
Yes, well, I hope you enjoyed the 5 parts regardless of looking at all those storms. First and foremost, it is a documentary, but this voting contest, I think I just thought it'd be quite fun to put it on near the end on this Saturday. It's been the culmination of a hell of a lot of work over the last few months, and I for one am very relieved that it's coming to an end. As indeed the Atlantic hurricane season has as well. I'm sure we're going to have many more conversations about that in the coming days, because a lot of people like to know what we're going to see next year, even though no one's really got a clue.
I don't know actually, but of course it will be very good to think what will happen in the next hurricane week, and to make it better than this year, because every time Hurricane Week is improving, so that's why, well, we are going to impress the fans.
Sandy has just gained another vote, by the way. It's now up to 17 for the public, and that will be reflected on the graphic shortly. So Sandy gains another vote. And Craig, are you ready?
No, I'm not ready.
No. That's a weird voice for Craig to have.
I'm double checking, making sure I've got everything correct.
Double checking it, okay. Because
I'm
you've got
not
quite a
mi-
burden
I'm not
here. The
messing
viewers are
this up
watching
now.
you, and they could, they'll want you to vote for something or other.
Oh yes.
The
That was the
contest.
comments, by the way.
Oh god.
Okay, Craig, do you have your number 10?
I do have it, but I'm just letting everyone else know it in chat now.
Oh
No,
my,
there's like
cryptic.
Yes, I am. I'm waiting for our chat to explode.
You put it in
This
the
isn't
YouTube
very
good.
comments.
No.
Oh,
No.
the chat that I can't see.
Yes. Sorry.
Otherwise, everyone else would see it at the same time. Yes, that one. Well, I can't just sit here.
I know you can.
Hmm.
Well, you could, but
I
it'd be a
could,
long
but
one.
it'd be very boring. Yes.
Right, the chat and their Skype chat set. That's what's there. That's my top 10. I don't care if anyone else disagrees. So there you have it. Yes.
Devon wants your
That
number 10 to be
top 10.
Wilmer, I think. Going on what he's just written.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Well, like ready as I'll have to ever be.
Good. Wonderful.
And this is live. And
This is-
no
this is live.
pre-record.
Let's do this slowly. What is your number 10, Craig?
Well, my number 10 is Hurricane Patricia.
Okay. So that gets 2 votes from Craig,
Mhm.
which will put it up to 42. Now, just slow down a little bit there. I've got to make sure everything syncs properly. Okay.
And
You might
number
talk
9
about it.
is. Oh. I'll
If
quickly
you want to
describe
talk about it, it's up to you.
Actually, I've near enough killed myself actually just writing this out.
Okay. Well,
As a vibrate. So number 9
yeah.
is Hurricane Pauline.
Pauline.
Yeah.
Hurricane Pauline. No votes to its name yet. You're the first one that gives it 4,
Interesting.
which puts it level with Joaquin.
That's
Come on.
Greg's pleased with that? No.
There has to be one, and it had to be me, didn't it? Right, anyway. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Number 8 is the very rare and very strange cyclone Katarina of the South Atlantic.
Ah, yes. So Katarina will get 6 votes there, which pushes it up to 8. Interesting one. Drawing level with Hazel, which is what John put in 7th. Would that be 7th place there?
Yep. And in 7th place is a name where you could literally rhyme near enough every word that rhymes with itch, and it is called Mitch.
Nice
Oh my
one.
God.
And I will not say the other words.
So
which
you've
you
given
can write it
Mitch
with.
8 points then, which gives it 13, which puts it just above the New England Hurricane.
Yep. And in 6th place is Caesar's very favourite storm.
Thank
which is-
you.
Oh, wait. There's something called Douglas at the end of it.
Oh,
Ah.
tragic.
Yes, in 6th
Caesar
place
Douglas.
it is Caesar Major Hurricane Douglas.
No,
So 10
Caesar was
votes.
major.
10 votes to Cesar Douglas, which puts it on a par with the Great Hurricane.
Oh dear.
Nice.
In 5th place is Hurricane Katrina. Not
Second.
really sure where that one could have been higher. I feel it could have been, but still. In 4th place.
Hold on a minute,
is-
hold on a minute, we're not ready yet. So Katrina
Hang on.
draws level with Hyann at the top now that you've done that, on 51 votes. These numbers are
that's-
racking up.
In 4th place is the hybrid Hurricane Sandy.
The hybrid hurricane, Sandy.
Well, you could sort of call it. Well, you could really call it a hybrid because it was.
So
merging with the
Sandy
nor'easter.
is up to 41, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken. Sandy's up to 41, which is just one short of Patricia.
And in third place, now this vote could really open up a major can of worms here. In third place
Uh-oh.
is Super Typhoon Haiyan.
Hi, Anne.
And
Oh, Craig's run out of money there, I think. Or is it me? My the connection went there briefly, Craig. You just said hi,
Oh.
Anne.
yes. And I don't know whether I opened up a can of worms with just putting that up there.
You probably
and
have.
in second place,
It'll
Probably, yes.
certainly
In
please
second
people in the
place-
Philippines, I'm sure.
probably. And second place is the Monster Cyclone Pam.
Ah, yes,
Uh,
Pam. I'm surprised you didn't put that one first. It is your favourite, after all. Well, it clearly isn't.
No.
Oh, I know what your
Wait
number
for
one's
it.
going to. Pam, believe it or not, Craig, Pam has had no votes so far. You must be very annoyed with that. And thanks to
Give me a
that.
minute. I walked off in rage.
Yeah, just minus the
And
rage
in
there,
that number
'cause we're
one
live.
spot, on
It's
my
obviously
top
going to be.
drum
Wait
roll
for it.
please, in fact. Drum roll please anyway. Oh wait, never mind. Is the cyclone which made Fiji misery. And this name needs no introduction. Cyclone Winston, which is my number. And I'm surprised that he's not got enough more votes than what I thought he would have. I feel that he actually should have more votes than what he's had. That he's
Poor
got at the
Winston.
minute because this is what he did. And I don't know what you can't really make a joke out of Winston because he really, really made Fiji's life a living hell. I know a lot of the storms that are on my list made a lot of people's lives hell, but Winston really, really did well, in terms of me only being here tracking and joining Force 13 for only joining for 2 years basically. Winston really practically showed the world what a South Pacific cyclone could really do, especially in terms of strength. And it moved west and escaped the jet stream.
And what about the steering mechanisms?
That mainly affected Pam, really, but had those, steering mechanisms and trough, not that monsoonal trough, not have been there.
But Winston had it too.
Not as bad as what Pam had, because I literally, if you look back at the IR imagery of Pam, I mean, you see Pam wiggling in and out like a zigzag, well, making zigzags actually, which made it very, very questionable whether it was going to hit Vanuatu, and especially Port Vila at that time. I mean, hadn't it not been there, Vanuatu probably would have gotten off a lot worse than what it did. And especially David over in Australia would definitely have seen Pam. Maybe what was left of her, maybe, but she could have still been relatively strong considering how fast she was actually moving down south through the South Pacific between Vanuatu and Fiji. Considering...
Just a note, there's been 3 new public votes for the top 3, Haiyan, Katrina and Patricia, all with new votes from the public there. So that's the latest, and we'll get our next experts panel vote. Which one's our next one from? I can't look at it right now. David's got the schedule over there.
Yeah,
Who do we have next? They're coming up in 5 minutes.
I think it's Hank.
I think it's me, yeah.
Oh, good. Yes, we get to hear from Hank. I mean, we could get to hear from Hank right now, but an earlier Hank will be talking in a few moments, revealing his top
Let's travel
10.
back in time.
Yeah, that is sort of time travel in a way, yeah. If you've got any questions or comments for us
Hank
whilst we're on
Lindsay,
the
sir.
air, I see that our team member Devon is talking to some of you already. And yeah, lots of fun ahead, I'm sure. I'm just worried that the scale's long enough. It doesn't go off the end of the screen.
Break.
Looks likely.
Is the skill
doesn't
gonna
it?
break? Is that skill just gonna break at the bad time?
One of them will just tip the scales, yeah. Well, there it is. I am 68 right now. I mean, Would Haiyan be a worthy winner, considering it won last year?
Well,
Maybe.
And
It
something
depends.
actually,
It's questionable.
Katrina has never been first in a Hurricane Week, has it?
It's been in the top 5 every time,
Yeah.
correct?
Just never got a first.
At least it's been consistent at something.
Patricia's obviously only been here for a year. Sandy was
Been
not
here for
in
3
Hurricane Week
years.
2015 because it wasn't a Category 5. Winston is a newbie as well. Pam was number 78 in 2015, which is curious.
Yes.
Wilma,
And
I
now
think,
look
was
at-
in the 30s or the 20s in Hurricane Week 2015. Mike, I don't recall. Mitch was in the top 10 last year, and it's in the top 10 right now in 9th. The New England Hurricane, I can't recall where that was in Hurricane Week last year either. But there we are, that's the top 10 right now. And Cesar Douglas is tied with the Great Hurricane in 11th.
No, I thought it was just Hurricane Douglas.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Cesar will be pleased by that.
Thank you very much.
No problem, Caesar.
So a guess coming, sorry, not a guess, a comment coming in from Stia Fuma, I think. Hank, can you please consider Miami 1926 and Okeechobee 1928? Well, he's already done his voting, and you're going to find out shortly.
Yeah, I've already done my voting.
Did you consider it?
Hadn't.
I consider the Miami Hurricane, I think. Okeechobee. I don't really remember. I did my voting a while ago, so I don't exactly remember.
They all occurred a while ago. Yeah.
I wasn't exactly sure what he meant by that question at first. So,
Indeed.
sorry.
Yeah, if you've got any more comments or questions for us whilst we're here, and any general questions, not regarding the voting or anything, just anything you want to talk to us about, then you may. But until then, we got nothing to say. What?
Yeah. Well, maybe
Until then,
99W.
farewell.
That's
No,
about
not
it.
farewell. We just got here.
I know.
Actually, maybe we want to do just a really, really quick update on 99W and what it could do in the Ocean.
Hank, you could probably scale over the models if you want.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm looking at them.
Basically, you could be seeing our most intense storm of the Indian Ocean in the next couple days.
Oh dear.
At least
current-
that's what they're saying. GFS has been
GFS
has been bullish on its intensity, but it has been all year with all storms. So let's just disregard its intensity.
Yeah.
Basically, all models are saying a landfall in either Andhra Pradesh or even as far north as Odisha. Sometime between. Models have actually been kind of delaying it by quite a while. So now they're saying late next week, or even the Bureau is saying as late as Sunday next week. So
well, looking at it on IR, I mean, I can't tell whether it's actually got a circulation with it. I mean, it certainly looks like it's got a circulation going with it. And
yeah.
I don't know about you, but it's minus 80, minus 90. But then again, this is Meteosat 7. Give me a bucket.
GFS says 0Z on Friday. CMC says, that's a while. That's not until Sunday. Navgem barely even goes out that far.
Electric Blue wants to know whether I'm going to do my top 10 last. Well, the answer's no, because I interviewed all these people when they gave out their top 10s, so that wouldn't look very good. So I will not be doing a top 10 myself. Just to mention, another vote coming in for Patricia and Haiyan.
Jesus Christ.
Doesn't even
God's
go
sake, vote Winston. He deserves more.
Winston.
Lastly, the HWRF doesn't even go as far out to see any
No.
lands.
Vote for Cesar Douglas.
No.
You get Cesar Douglas into the top 10.
You're not voting Caesar, you're just voting the Douglas part.
Shh.
But anyway,
All right, well,
looking at the wind shear and thinking, it's rather hostile, increasing in the entire Bay of Bengal, and then decreasing mainly across from where 99W is, and straight across the southern half of the Bay of Bengal, over Sri Lanka, over the southern tip of India, and into the Arabian Sea, and pretty much in the Bay of Bengal as a majority. The strongest the wind shear is increasing by is 20 knots. So, regardless of where the storm moves, it's pretty much up against the wall.
We might pick up again on that in a little while, but now we're going to take a look at what Hank voted for when he did his experts panel, and I'm going to take you and look at that now. Here it is, somewhere in the background. Okay, now I'm joined by another of the Force 13 branch of the experts,
in here somewhere.
at least, and I'm joined by Hank Dawes in Texas. Hello.
Hi, Nathan.
How are you today, and have you been enjoying the Hurricane Week?
I'm doing well, and Hurricane Week has been going quite great lately. I think it's been a pretty good project.
Okay, well, without much further ado, let's get on to your top 10.
Okay. I have a list right here.
Start at the bottom with the number 10 and work your way up to that number 1.
Yes. Okay. At number 10 is a storm that I have on this list for one reason only, and it's because of its incredible location, and that's Katrina of March 2004. Becoming a Category 2 hurricane or cyclone, whichever term you want to call it, same thing, is extraordinary. We have seen one other tropical storm in the South Atlantic that we know of. That was Anita of 2010. All the other storms have been subtropical. Katrina did start out subtropical, I believe, and then made landfall in Brazil as a Category 2 storm. Number 9 is on the list because of its impacts in Australia. Mahina of 1899 reported to have the lowest air pressure ever seen in the Southern Hemisphere, but the information on that is kind of vague because it's before the 20th century, barely. And killed about 400 people in Queensland, as well as, it could have been as high as 500 in some cases. And yeah, deadliest tropical cyclone ever recorded in Australia. Wow. Number 8 is the most recent storm on my list, Cyclone Winston. I had to include a storm. I tried my best to put one storm every single basin. I couldn't do one in the Eastern Pacific and Southwest Indian Ocean because there wasn't enough options, and I was not putting Patricia in the list. Winston was just incredible to me just to watch. Just seeing it just basically as like a buzzsaw right into Fiji. Probably almost a perfect annular cyclone. It was just incredible, and it ended up being the costliest cyclone in South Pacific history, and caused around 44 deaths. Number 7 is one that is a U.S.-centric storm, the deadliest in recorded history in the U.S. That's the Galveston hurricane of 1900. Possibly as high as 12,000 deaths in Galveston. Occurred on September the 8th, 1900. Had very little clue of the storm actually coming in. Came in with a storm surge higher than the highest point on Galveston Island, completely flooding the entire city. And as a result, we had to build the seawall in Galveston, to protect us from further storms of that veracity.
Something if you had to build a seawall in Dallas.
Number 6 is also a relatively recent storm, Haiyan. I had to put Haiyan on this list just because of its ferocity, how it just basically cut right through the Visayas region of the Philippines, killing about 7,000 people and about $3 billion in damage. The storm looked absolutely incredible on satellite. Even though they say it was 895 millibars, I think it was much lower than that. Probably maybe even in the 870s. That's where my reanalysis put it at. I'm pretty sure Nathan has the same thing.
879.
Yeah. And Haiyan was really the storm that really got me tracking worldwide, as I said earlier. Moving into the top 5. Number 5 is another Atlantic storm. It's Mitch of 1998. Mitch was a storm that basically stalled over Honduras. It moved, but it was very, very slow for almost a week, and it dumped incredible amounts of rainfall. Some reports up to 80 inches in some places, just remarkable. And as a result, it caused up to possibly as high as 22,000 deaths. I believe the reported number is 19,325. But regardless of his actual death toll, it was the second deadliest storm in Atlantic history, only behind the Great Hurricane of 1780, which, spoiler alert, is not on the list. Number 4 is Typhoon Nina of 1975, just because of its incredible death toll in China. With the catastrophe, with the intense rainfall as it moved very slowly over those areas. Same situation with Mitch, except this time it made a dam collapse, the Benquao Dam, and just flooded all of these communities, killing possibly as high as 230,000 people, the fourth deadliest tropical cyclone ever recorded. It almost became a Category 5. It was close, but not quite, as it made its first landfall in Taiwan, but really isn't known for the effects in Taiwan.
So, if that number 4 there is the fourth deadliest storm on record, does the top 3 become obvious or not? You got a surprise?
No, because number 3 is the Bola cyclone. Which is the deadliest tropical cyclone ever recorded. The reason why I don't have the storm at number 1 is because there are 2 storms that I feel like were not necessarily worse than the Bola cyclone, but there's storms that I feel are some of the worst storms to ever affect mankind, as well as the Bola cyclone. Any of the top 3 could have been number 1. Bola cyclone, 500,000 people died in Bangladesh, was a Category 3 or 4 landfall in East Pakistan at the time. Became Bangladesh later on. Recovery from the storm was awful. They had to start. It was a band that started this recovery effort for Bangladesh or something. I don't exactly remember what it was, but something like that in the United States to go on. And speaking of the United States, number 2 is Hurricane Katrina. I don't really need to say too much about this. We all know what happened in New Orleans. Category 5 hurricane in the record active 2005 Atlantic hurricane season. Just cut it. Fortunately, it did weaken before landfall to a Category 3. I don't even want to imagine what it could have been like if it was a 4 or even a 5. And everyone thought we dodged a bullet. Then the levees broke, and then all hell broke loose in New Orleans and caused probably one of the costliest natural disasters in history. I think the 2011 earthquake in Japan was higher. I think that's it. Worst natural disaster in U.S. history, caused almost 2,000 deaths in the Gulf Coast. I don't really think I need to say much more. We all know about Katrina. Now, number 1, this might be a little bit of a shocker for some people, just because they don't really know. They might not know a whole lot about the storm. But number 1 on the storm was Cyclone Nargis of 2008. This storm was something else. The fact that a storm can put storm surge 25 miles inland is something that astonishes me. This storm caused $10 billion in the Irrawaddy Delta of Burma. Burma or Myanmar, whichever one you prefer. Today, that's $11 billion. Caused about 138,000 deaths. And the response was probably one of the worst in history, if not the worst in history. Leaving a million people unaccounted for, in my opinion, it's unacceptable, in my opinion. It's just incredible now when I think about it. I'm really at a loss for words for Nargis. Not really a storm I mention a whole lot, just because I just don't want to mention it, just for its ferocity. And the recovery effort was postponed even more. Not necessarily the best word, but it's a word.
Delayed.
Because of the earthquake in central China that occurred in mid-May, which was about 2 weeks after Nargis made landfall in Burma. Costliest cyclone in Indian Ocean history. One of the worst cyclones of all time, in my opinion.
And that gets your 25 votes at number 1. Thank you very much, Hank, and we'll see you again soon.
See ya.
Yes, we're back, and after that brings the standings a little bit higher. It seems to be between Katrina and Haiyan, 79 and 72 votes. 79 Haiyan, 72 Katrina after the experts panel, though I don't know whether people will accept that or not, or whether they will just stick with the public vote. I mean, we can take either of them at face value. The public vote is still Patricia 38, Haiyan 33, Sandy 17, Katrina 15. But after the experts vote, it's 79 Haiyan, 72 Katrina. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Everyone's still here.
Good to be here.
Again.
And Lachlan has
I'm
come into the room.
I'm pretty impressed about the votings on Hank. I'm pretty agree of one of his votings actually. He voted for really great cyclones. I mean, great in the terms that were historic and remarkable for history. So, well, I actually don't have too much to say that.
And yours is coming up soon as well, isn't it, Cesar?
Oh yes, I think.
Luckily, we didn't put the bloopers in it.
Shit. I want to say that possibly some people will get mad for my votings. Maybe.
I think everyone's going to get mad at
Cesar
everyone
Douglas
else's
another one?
vote. It's just going to be a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because my English is not so good. That's why
What, people hate your votes because your English isn't so good?
Oh no, I mean that the votings of my storms. I'm kind of regretting for when my voting, but it's too late. But well, let's see how people react after you show my votings.
Yes,
And
and
people-
that is what we're going to show next in just a couple of minutes. Oh dear indeed.
Oh dear.
Cesar will be on the television. He's going to get stage fright.
Let's hope he does not. Let's hope he doesn't hiccup.
Yeah, I'm seeing a few Katrina fans, Haiyan fans out there, even Winston Sudalor fans. I'm not seeing any Patricia fans tonight.
Good.
They're all hiding.
Well, it is in third right now. I mean, there is a bit of a gap between third, second,
Nathan.
and first, but that can change. Yep.
Nathan, all the Patricia fans have gone off crying because you put it down to 208.
Oh dear. There's no basis to call it 215 miles an hour. Now, I don't know what position I would put it in tonight if it was down just to me. I'm not putting in any votes tonight, so it isn't down to me in any way. So I can have an opinion on this. I probably would not have it in first. Quite clearly, I wouldn't have it in first because I think about all of the criteria of the storm, the human cost, the damages, everything. And on that basis, I'm not sure what I'd go for. It wouldn't be Patricia, though it might squeak in the top 10 maybe, just because of its notability. Would it be higher than Tip for notability? Now that's a question everyone's got to ask themselves. If you were going to do an East Pacific Hurricane Week, it would be in the top 3, right?
I would put Manuel at number 1 though.
Yeah, it's
Or-
costliest.
Or the
ever.
1959 hurricane, or Iniki, or something like that.
Manuel didn't even make it in top 100 yet. It's the costliest storm in the East Pacific.
Annoying. Foolish.
$1 billion Betsy set the benchmark, but didn't make it on the Hurricane Week either.
Neither did Donna or Audrey or any of these storms, or Janet or Hattie or oh my gosh, or Carla made it.
Yeah, so Hank's certainly feeling a little bit aggrieved. Lachlan has just arrived, by the way. if we can hear from him at all. If not, we're going to... Oh, come on.
Yes.
Ah,
You
yes.
can.
Also joining us from the east coast of Australia, which I think David's going to be representing in just 2 hours. Maybe you can do it jointly if you have the time to think about it. But now we're going to go over to Cesar's vote and see...
No!
Oh, yes. We're going to see what Cesar had to say on his vote. Now, let me just get everything configured. It's a
It
little bit
will
awkward
it will
tonight.
be ridiculous.
I'm
Ridiculous.
I'm sure it
Nathan.
will. Yes.
Nathan, when you
Thank
say
you.
Nathan, when you say let's go, you mean let's go heck upping to Cesar's evaluation.
Now Yeah, that was very deliberate. Here's Cesar, the butt of their joke tonight. Seems Cesar's top 10. Here it is. When I find the right button, here it is. I'm now joined by Cesar Gamez, joining us from, is it central Mexico or the northern part or somewhere around there?
It's kind of the center of Mexico now. I'm now living in León, Guanajuato. That's in Mexico, near the center of the country. I moved there like 3 months ago, so I'm not living in the north anymore.
And you used to be near Monterrey, or sort of in Monterrey, and
Actually,
does that have, your location have any bearing on how you got into hurricanes?
not actually. My place, it's very difficult to receiving hurricanes. More difficult than Monterrey, actually, because it's right in the center, surrounded by a lot of mountains with a very high altitude. So it's pretty difficult to have hurricanes in León, more than Monterrey, actually.
Yeah, the aim of the question was to sort of figure out how it is that you got into tracking the storms, Cesar. How was it then?
Oh, well, it was in 2010 when Hurricane Alex came here. I got really interested of what are those storms because I never saw anything in my life. I saw my city, Monterrey, being really bad destroyed by the system. And well, since that date, I started tracking few storms worldwide, and then my storm tracking activity was increasing during the following years. And well, I think that's why I got interested in hurricanes and why I started tracking storms.
And here you are on the experts panel in 2016 for Hurricane Week.
After 6 years, how much I waited for this moment. Just kidding.
Without further ado, let's get on to the top 10, Cesar. Start with your number 10 and work your way up to your number 1. Go ahead. Go right through it.
Perfect. My number 10 is Cyclone Nargis. That was in the North Indian Ocean, and 2008. Nargis was a pretty strong and a very bad cyclone. It was a recent cyclone that cyclone only happened 8 years ago, and it killed 138,000 people being killed by that storm. And it is really incredible that this kind of people that have died when we are in the center in 21st century, when the communication is the most important factor to prevent cyclones than that. And Nargis, well, it was completely different and very unexpected for Myanmar, that was in the place being hit by that storm. Number 9 is Cyclone Fantala. The reason is because it was a very powerful cyclone, very weird too, because it was at the end of the season. Actually, it was the most intense storm in the basin, Southwest Indian Ocean, by wind speeds. And well, it was a long-lived cyclone, and most of most of the lifetime of the cyclone was maintaining a very very high intensity. Number 8 is Cyclone Winston because it's an historic storm. It holds a record for most intense South Pacific basin storm by wind speeds, and for making landfall by peak intensity with 185 miles per hour, if I'm not wrong, and well, striking Fiji and being the most deadliest and costliest storm in the basin too. Number 7 is Hurricane Mitch, 1998, because it was a storm that nobody expected to be so bad for the country Nicaragua. I mean, for killing a lot of people, it killed almost 20,000 people in Nicaragua. The first days of the lifetime of the storm, they thought that it would hit Belize or the Yucatan Peninsula, but it made a sudden turn to the south, and it made landfall with a very powerful hurricane, and well, that's why Mitch is for me the number 7 for killing 20,000 people.
Yeah, stalled for ages. That's half the problem that it caused. Just stalling over the area, dumping historic rainfall.
It was a very slow moving storm too. And a very big system too. So that's why it was a very bad for Nicaragua.
Let's rush along. Number 6.
Number 6, Cyclone Chapala of the North Indian Ocean. That was in the last year, 2015. Well, for me, Chapala was a historic storm, being the second most intense storm of the
Arabian Sea.
Arabian Sea, yes. Sorry, I forgot the name of the Arabian Sea, and also striking Yemen, being the most intense storm to strike Yemen, and the first to strike the country since 1928, if I'm not wrong. Number 5 goes to Katrina. Katrina, the most costliest storm ever in the world, $128 billion of damages. That's a very, very incredible amount of money lost just for a storm. And Katrina wasn't that big too, and it wasn't that intense at landfall, but just imagine that all that hurricane can cause. Doesn't matter the intensity of the storm, doesn't matter the size, and well, I think Louisiana wasn't too prepared for the storm because watching those kind of damages and watching that Louisiana is not fully recovered yet for that hurricane, it really impressed a lot, and it goes to history. So that's why it's number 5. Number 4 goes to Haiyan, because Haiyan is the most intense storm ever to make landfall with a peak intensity. It was worst case scenario like Winston too. But Haiyan was 195 miles per hour, or well, that's estimated. But for me, it is the most, for me, and I see that Haiyan is the most intense storm ever to strike a place. And Philippines got really, really bad situation there. That was 3 years prior, actually. And a lot of people died too. And it wasn't a, how is it? It never matters how fast was moving Haiyan, because it was moving fast, but the intensity of the storm and how compact it was caused that such a disaster in the Philippines. And the intensity of the storm actually impresses a lot because it was the most intense worldwide by wind speeds. Well, it was estimated, but that period before Patricia was the most intense, and that's why for me is the number 4. Number 3 for me is Typhoon Tip. Number 3 is Typhoon Tip because it is the most intense storm worldwide by pressure, 870 millibars. But not also is about the pressure, it is about too the size of the storm. It was more than 1,100 miles wide and just by tropical storm force winds. So that means that the storm was even bigger than that. And Tip was an incredible storm. I don't know how the hell managed to have a size like that.
Okay, your number 2 storm is worth 20 votes.
Number 2 is Hurricane Patricia. Patricia is the number 2 for me because it was the first storm to have 200 miles per hour or higher being measured by a plane. So that means that it was the first official reading that we saw a hurricane or a storm in worldwide. It intensified really quickly. That was impressive how fast it deepens, and well, being actually the most intense storm to strike Mexico too, in the Pacific side, as a Category 4 storm, 150 miles per hour if I'm not wrong, and well, that goes to history too as a pretty historic storm, and well, that's why for me is the number 2.
Okay, so I'm sure many people will want to know, what's your number 1 for 25 votes, Cesar?
Maybe not too many will expect that, many others yet can expect the storm, but for me is the Bola cyclone is the number 1 because I can't imagine a storm killing 500,000 people. It killed 500,000 people, and that was in between India and another country that I don't remember, sorry. And that was back on Bangladesh,
Or
yes.
East Pakistan, it was called.
Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India too. So between those countries, Bola killed between 300,000 and 500,000 people in just one day. And it really is impressive because I can't imagine a storm right now doing such disaster than that.
Cesar, pleasure. Thank you very much. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day.
Thank you, Nathan. It was pretty good to having time with you and discussing those storms. And well, see you later.
See you.
Okay.
Hello.
Guys, please get guys. No. Actually, I want to say to everybody that please get out all that anger that you feel because actually I feel a kind of regret of some of my voting. Yes. No, I mean that I should have voted for other storms or placing the storms in other positions, but. Yes, but well, at least I think I voted in the majority of them fairly. But I don't know, what do you think, guys? Go ahead.
Well, I have one major question. Why did you put Patricia so high up? Why?
Well, when I voted,
at least it wasn't Caesar Douglas, though.
Because I don't do favoritism, but when I voted for Patricia
When I voted for Patricia in that case, it's because I consider the fact that Patricia was, or well, it had a very incredible intensity that so few storms can get, and I don't think that any cyclone will surpass or tie the same intensity of Patricia in decades. So that's why it's kind of one
Yeah, you
of the
might be able
reasons
to
of
hear me
why I
now, by
put.
the way.
Yes.
That's why
I forgot
thought
to
Patricia
switch
not-
the dial. I just had a muted me. It doesn't matter. No one wants to hear me anyway. It's fine. But
Don't be like that.
well, now we've reached 11 o'clock UTC, which means there's just less than an hour left for the public to put in their thoughts. Of course, we will recognise the public leaders as well as the expert panel votes. And
Yep.
right now, the public leader remains Patricia, 39, Hyan, 33, Sandy, 17, Katrina, 15. Added with the experts panel votes, it's Hyan, 93, Katrina, 84, and Patricia, 65. Interesting indeed. Right now, we've got a little treat for you because we're going to be showing you. You may remember last year during the last part of Hurricane Week when we showed you the
Here we go.
TEAM Hypo. Well, it's back again this year.
It's back with the bang, hopefully.
It's back again. I'm not sure how we're going to do this because you guys won't be able to see this whilst I'm playing it. Or at least not very well.
We'll have to watch it on the stream at least.
Well,
or
hold-
Nice
something.
stream.
Well, I don't want it to be
Yeah.
delayed. So let me try and see if I can grab it at the same time with this screen share function that we all know.
Let's hope this doesn't blow up.
Yeah, let's hope the computer
Hopefully it
doesn't blow up.
doesn't go.
So you'll be able to see what might have been season, and the viewers will be able to see the TEAM Hypo season, and the viewers will be able to see that as well. And I will keep everyone faded in so we can hear the reaction in real time. Okay, we ready to go with this?
Yes,
Yes,
why
yeah.
not?
Let's turn all the lights off and bring this one on. Here we go.
Go ahead.
Mic check now.
So you're still on air, guys. We can still hear you. Don't say anything rude.
Hi, Nathan.
You're live on air. Please,
Yes.
you're clear. Oh, there's
Oh,
your
1L. What's that? What's that?
One L.
Here we go. Who is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
It was
Okay, well,
Boring.
Disappointment.
Wait.
Julie.
Oh, there's your 2L.
Anthony.
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 Barrett.
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 Well, Hurricane.
Category one,
Right over
Anthony.
the Bahamas heading to oh Jesus. Oh, there's
4L.
04L.
Courier. Cashier. I'm just kidding.
Cashier.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
here comes
Career, cashier, whatever.
in towards
Please sit
the
down.
and this to the north.
Oh, okay, where's it going? Where's it going? Where's it going?
Damn it.
Boo.
Poor John. Didn't manage to make
Oh. Pick up.
Hiccup.
Oh,
I don't think that's a
we're
storm
going
name
north
either.
We're going north.
Number 5, another Cape Verde type storm. Devon.
Okay, this one better wreck the Bahamas, and it doesn't look like it will.
No
So.
idea. So he's gonna wait yet another year now.
Emily.
Emily.
Yeah, I think we ran out of names. We didn't have an E name.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
We just used Emily.
Well, I wonder whose name's coming next.
Might
I
be a-
wonder.
why don't you be like Floyd or something and get Craig very angry?
I think the Jason will be Joaquin.
Oh, let's see what it is. Let's see what the
not
name
that
is.
one.
Oh,
Not that one.
okay, it died.
You disappoint me.
God. Oh boy.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh god. If this
Oh,
becomes
Aston-
me,
Aston will gain from
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, Craig, it's your storm.
philosophical
Oh,
Wait,
God,
is
yeah,
terrible.
that was weak.
Gain
Yeah.
me.
Games is going.
Oh,
Oh,
That's a great too.
outrageous.
All right, now let's see if
Ollie there. I'm an Alex.
I'm always affecting my HQ actually.
You are. Now 2 at a time.
Go the tank. The tank.
Oh, great.
The tank goes.
I
Oh, it's
want
me.
Jason.
two.
I am.
Quite a party we've got there. Oh my god.
Jason!
Goodness sake.
Everybody is killing my HQ.
Oh, there I am.
Place.
Still there. Oh, two of
Now these two storms just go stupid, by the way.
Oh god.
It's supposed that Isaac is absorbing keys.
Well, not really.
What? Oh,
Just very.
Where am I
They must have
going?
been
Where-
very small
where is-
storms. Just Lachlan, by the way. Is he still here?
Yes.
Oh well.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
pleased with that. It just went nuts.
Oh, New Orleans.
Marcel.
Marcel.
Oh my.
No.
Oh no. No more, please. No more.
Nelson.
Why didn't Marcel hit Columbia?
Yeah.
Or Venezuela.
Beautiful, that should have been interesting. Okay, next name starts with O, I think.
Oh, Jesus.
This would be
Oh,
all
it's gonna be. Oh,
Orlando.
18.
Orlando.
And
Orlando.
Tropical Storm.
Orlando.
Oh, there's
Other
19 now.
fellows. All of him.
Oh.
So that's it.
Guys, you will regret a lot for saying that.
Used in 1995. Let's not forget.
Hurricane Orlando. Tropical Storm Orlando now. Oh, Hurricane. Oh, this isn't another Nadine. God damn it, dude.
Might be.
I was about to say that.
Okay,
No,
okay,
not
it's
quite.
over.
Not
It's over.
quite.
It's over. It's over.
Wasn't as bad as last year.
Here it goes now.
Okay.
Who's right here we go.
Dude, Arby. Oh my. Nothing in October. Jeez.
Yeah, yeah. November now.
20.
There's Roden.
Rona.
Ronan.
Man.
The hay
We
mail.
never see. He's never been on a live event.
Oh, Jesus. Landfall right near my town. Oh, Christ.
Mm.
Oh, God.
Oh, was that a hiccup I heard?
It was indeed.
Ah! Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Some people are gonna be very annoyed with that one.
And November Cat 5, that's impossible.
No, it
Oh
isn't.
my. What is Mitch, you know?
That was like the Mitch from the last. What might have been, I'm pretty
A
sure.
bit, yeah, I guess. Quite like Mitch.
What is Strat doing?
There is actually some method to this madness, by the
Oh,
way.
no.
This hypothetical was generated using a computer.
Oh lord.
Wow.
There was very, very little human input.
God damn
So it was
Strat.
almost completely computer generated. How cool is that?
Ooh, 22.
I hit my HQ twice, and Hank and Jason struck my HQ again. Double.
Yeah,
Dear.
yeah,
They,
it was
they,
crazy.
Getting some
they wanted
blue.
to destroy Mexico once. I feel triggered.
Yeah, the season's not over yet. December now.
How are we gonna get to
Ah,
W?
We will check at 5 December.
What's
Dear.
V, Vilchip?
Valerie.
We don't have a V.
Oh,
Oh,
Haitian
Hey,
landfall.
we don't have a V anymore.
Yeah, that'd be
Haiti.
bad. That'd be bad.
What? Wait, hold up. Hold up.
Wait for it.
oh, what's going on here?
Oh,
What's going on here? Oh.
What?
He's late as always.
Why?
Whoa! Yo!
The yoga.
Good one,
Oh
Mario.
man, perfect end of the season.
Oh my, another storm? Ah, I was.
That's it. You were
Hey,
pleased.
there I
50
am.
miles.
That is it.
Come on, nice 30.
What?
You were 1
What's
milliball
wrong with
stronger.
that? Oh, your storm.
No, I was a TS.
Wow. 175
Oh.
miles and 908.
Oh.
Orlando.
Wow.
Too many storms.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad, but I feel triggered.
That's it. Computer generated.
But I
One
feel
right now.
Wonderful. And here we are, we're back again. Well, we hope you enjoyed that at least. Whilst we've been waiting for the next votes to come in, I'm just doing another check. Well, we'll wait for more votes to come in. And guys, any thoughts in the meantime? Well, I think you did pretty well last year, didn't you? So I guess it evened out.
Yeah.
You remember the 2015 Team Hypo? Weren't you a Cat 4?
Yes, I wanted to be a 5.
You wanted to be a
kind of.
Ah, looks like
I
we've
was-
made backwards progress this year.
I'm very disappointed.
Hmm.
I'm triggered.
Here.
Yeah, well, Waniel was a
Never
Cat
mind.
5 last year as well, wasn't it? Crazy.
Even more triggered.
Wonderful.
Someone spelled my name wrong in chat. I am very triggered now.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's that
Okay,
bugbear.
okay. We have an issue. Devin said my storm is as insignificant as Hank of 1997. Thanks a lot, bud. Means a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Give a big round of applause to Devin right there.
Rip Brown, bro.
He just.
Yeah. If you've got any more comments or questions for us whilst we're on the air, then do go ahead and say hello. And I'm saying hello to Orlando because we've not heard from him yet.
Florida.
His nickname.
Hello,
Florida,
Orlando.
yes. Well, that-
It's time to see me become a Category 2 hurricane.
And Strat was a Category 5, but he wasn't here. It happened. The
I
computer
will
generated
mute
it.
myself.
No one had any way to change that. Anyway, there we go. I keep having to glance at the schedule wherever it may be. I'm not sure what's coming up next. In a few minutes it's to Devon's votes, and they go on for 13 minutes. I don't know how he managed to keep himself talking for so long, but we don't mind. It saves me having to talk in his place. So we'll have that coming up in a few minutes' time as the voting contest continues to take shape. It hasn't changed since the last time you saw it. It is still Hyan leading the way with 93, Katrina 84, Patricia 65, though on the popular public vote, if you want to go by that, Patricia 39, Hyan 33, Sandy 17, and Katrina 15. Where do you think Sandy should place in this, do you think?
Top 10.
You think it should be in the top 10?
Top 10 would
Probably.
be fair for it. Top 10.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
I
the
agree
second
with him.
costliest storm in the world.
Yeah, top 10. Top 10. If it's outside the top 10 by the end of the night, it's going to be very harsh.
If it's outside the top 10, then that's harsh, yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I agree with the top 10, but not above 7th.
So you agree with the top 7?
Yes.
So you're saying. So in other words, you're thinking that in your head now, telepathically, you're thinking, God damn it, why is Cesar Douglas not up front, right?
No, Cesar Douglas deserved the first place, actually.
And if we scroll down a little bit, maybe there's hope for him yet. Cesar Douglas is in 15th with 11 votes, level with Chapala and the Great Hurricane. And the Great Hurricane hasn't had any expert votes yet, but has had 11 public votes. So that's very
Because that
interesting.
hurricane wasn't great.
I would
Fifth
say it was.
place
but
in the public vote is the Great Hurricane. So look out for that one.
It went
as-
from third.
as we
I
go
was
on.
like, I think it was
Fifth it
fourth
was.
at one
Fifth
point.
it was at its height, I believe.
Nathan, I have one question. Why is
Yeah, it was fifth actually.
Go
why
ahead.
is Chapala even there? Why is Chapala there?
Ask the public. They chose the top 100.
I'm like, why is Chapala there?
We'll see
I
if there's
voted
any
for
response.
Chapala.
Any Chapala fans out there, please contact us. Greg
Oh, no,
wants to
oh,
know.
Explain!
That's what he is.
I know there's someone in the fans room who is a big fan.
Oh yeah!
And they've not sent you any messages.
Yeah.
Just when you've got
And
a minute
you
to-
can visit the Force 13 fans room as well, by the way.
Yes.
You can get through to there via the main website. I'm not sure the exact link, but you'll find it on there, I hope. And that is also the same place where you can find the voting, and it's force13.com/HW/2016. If you're still yet to vote, you've only got 45 minutes left to do so, and then it's going to be pretty much wrapped up, and then we'll find out for sure which storm has won the public vote by midnight, and then the experts panel will see if they could influence the rest. Anyway. Quickly, any thoughts, guys, that you want to discuss before we get on to Devon's vote?
Well, I have an interesting question that Electric Blue just said. I still want to know why Patricia is more popular vote. Well,
the people.
mainly because
Sorry.
ask the people, because the people wanted to see Patricia right up there contesting with first place.
And it still is.
Yeah, it's not over
Yeah.
yet.
Sadly.
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 Sadly, oh dear.
Probably.
Well, you can see how popular Hurricane Patricia is up being on here.
But it's
You're
funny
right.
because it's not been as popular tonight with our commenters as
No.
it has been in previous nights, which I find
Exactly.
very curious.
It hasn't been,
I mean,
which is a
me
first.
personally, I'm trying to moderate the whole thing, trying to remain impartial, whilst you guys can just go off and say whatever you like. But I'm going to try not. And when you do say a critical comment about a storm, I try and play devil's advocate with you to see
Well-
if we can come to a conclusion. Anyway, well, in the absence of that, let's get on to the 13 minutes of Devon, and we'll see which storms he has voted for. Quite often he strays away from the tracks, and maybe he's voted for some curious storms. Who knows? Let's find out, shall we? As soon as I can find the right buttons. This will take a moment or two. I'm fading you down now, and we'll move on to Devon's vote. Here it is. I'm now joined by Devon. Hello, Devon. How are you?
Decent enough. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. And you're joining us from Pennsylvania along the east coast of the US. Not
Absolutely.
necessarily a stranger to hurricanes, but a stranger to landfalls at least.
Yep. Pennsylvania actually does get affected by a lot of tropical cyclone remnants. A lot of low pressure systems like to actually pass very close to or even right over Pennsylvania during the summer and fall months. So, yeah, we do get a lot of remnants of tropical storms here. So, to start out, we've got storm number 10 on my list, and that's going to go to an unnamed system, at least officially. An unnamed system that formed in the southern Atlantic in 2004, which is unofficially and really colloquially called Cyclone Katrina, which was an extremely rare South Atlantic hurricane-strength tropical cyclone that ended up making landfall in Brazil in the Santa Catarina region, hence its name. It didn't really do much at landfall, so that's why I have to rate it here at 10. But since it is the most notable storm in the South Atlantic, there you go. It's going to be 10th on the list. And we have here at number 9, Cyclone Fentala, which was an extremely powerful Southwest Indian Ocean cyclone, very close to the equator, actually. I'm not quite sure if it was the closest Cat 5 ever in the Southwest Indian Ocean to the equator, but I'm sure it's up there. And this storm, not just notable for its rather powerful intensity at peak, but it also passed back and forth over the same group of islands 3 times. Once as a powerful borderline Cat 4, Cat 5, the next time as around a Cat 1, Cat 2, and the third time as a remnant low. But nonetheless, it passed the same groupings of islands, the Falkland Islands, 3 times. And at number 8, we're going to go to the Australian cyclone region, and we're going to go a little bit back in time here to Cyclone Mahina of 1899. And not too terribly much is really known about this storm. Basically, that it has the highest known storm surges to exist out of any cyclone, and it was pretty much guaranteed to be a Cat 5, I believe 880 some millibars at landfall, which would be probably the lowest pressure at landfall recorded anywhere in the world, if that is ever to be confirmed, which is quite remarkable. I believe the official record still stands with the Labor Day hurricane with 892 as far as recorded pressures are concerned. Unofficially, you have storms like Meggie, or maybe even Haiyan, but nothing was ever officially recorded with those storms. So now moving on to number 7, to a storm that caused most of its damage actually as a tropical depression. You have Hurricane Paul in the East Pacific in 1982. It was kind of like your standard Category 2 hurricane. Seems like it just came up, hit Mexico, dissipated quickly, and seemed to do nothing. Except when you take a look at it while it was still forming as a tropical depression, it produced very, very heavy rains over Central America, killing over 1,000 people. Still to this day, I believe this is the second deadliest storm in the East Pacific, second or third. So Number 6 is going to be the most recent storm. No, the second most recent storm on this list, and that's going to be Cyclone Winston in the South Pacific. And I had a hard time deciding whether if I was going to take this storm, Cyclone Winston, or Cyclone Pam. And both of them, they were within a half a point of each other with their storm notability. Both of them making Cat 5 either landfalls or very near passes to the group of islands. Pam severely affecting Vanuatu, and Winston severely affecting Fiji. I went with Winston basically because, well, we haven't seen a storm of Winston's strength since Cyclone Monica of 2006 in the Southern Hemisphere, and just the overall strength of this storm as it was going across Fiji was just unbelievable. Just a beautiful, almost perfect annular cyclone as it was going across, and it's just unbelievable. But this may shock a few people when I say that number 5 is going to contain the worst Atlantic storm that I have here. And I'm going to say that the worst Atlantic storm is going to be the 1926 Miami hurricane. Now I know that might create a lot of controversy. You have storms like the Great Atlantic Hurricane of 1780, which may have killed up to 25,000 people, maybe more. You have Mitch, which is guaranteed to at least have killed 20,000 people. You have the Galveston hurricane, which killed 10,000 people. But in my mind, the 1926 Miami hurricane, if this storm were to replicate itself today, it would just be a complete disaster. We're talking about a city that is already experiencing flooding just on a normal day because of the tides, and you have this monster Category 4 hurricane come through, and you're talking about the entire city would be underneath water. We would be talking about damages that would easily exceed $150 billion, if not maybe even approach $200 billion in damages. The 1926 Miami hurricane, if that storm were to replicate itself today, would just be a complete monster. If you really take a look back at it in 1926, when the storm first there really wasn't. Population was just starting to get really going in Florida, so it didn't cause as much as it could have. Now we're definitely getting into the mega disaster section here. And number 4, I'm going to go with the 1991 Bangladesh cyclone, and this was actually one of the 2 wild cards here. And I really think that this storm explains itself away why I've rated it so high here. This storm's killed over 100,000 people, making landfall in Bangladesh as a very high-end Category 4, winds of 155 miles per hour, and just destroyed the entire river delta where it made landfall. Like, the damage was just absolutely remarkable with that system. So, going on to number 3 now, we have the worst storm in the West Pacific, and I gotta tell you what, if it wasn't for this storm causing incredible damage, death, and destruction as a remnant low, Typhoon Mike would have gone here. However, that is not the case. We have Typhoon Nina here at number 3, and this storm caused over 200,000 deaths. So Typhoon Nina caused most of its death and destruction as a remnant low over China after making landfall as a very significant typhoon. But most of its death occurred once it moved inland and produced very heavy rains that contributed to the collapse of a very significant dam, and that just flooded out major cities below, causing well over 200,000 deaths. So coming in at number 2, maybe a little surprise to some people that this is actually a wild card system. And it's one of the other 2. And this goes to the 1970 Bola cyclone, which impacted pretty much a very similar area that the 1991 Bangladesh cyclone impacted. A little bit further to the west, that's the only difference. The polar cyclone was a lot weaker when you take a look at intensities. Polar cyclone was Cat 3, Cat 4 borderline, not 150 miles per hour. I don't know where they got that number from. But this cyclone was very, very destructive once it came inland and just dumped torrential rains for everybody in India and Bangladesh. Or at that point in time, I believe it would have been called East Pakistan. And yeah, the storm would end up causing maybe upwards to 500,000 deaths in the two countries, which is just unfathomable to think that a singular storm could have caused that much death and that much destruction. And damage was pretty much complete in any area that was flooded away. And there's really only one cyclonic storm around the entire world that has produced nearly the same scope as a disaster, and that is my number one, Cyclone Nargis of 2008. And boy, oh boy, where do I start? This thing, again, it wasn't a Cat 5. This thing was only a Cat 4, and I hate using that term only. It was only a Category 4. So it's not exactly the strongest storm in the world. This storm also wasn't really the largest storm in the world either. It was a pretty small system. But two interesting things. The first one is that it was a west to east moving system, not your traditional south to north or east to west moving. This was a west to east moving system, and this cyclone impacted an area in Burma that hadn't been impacted by that significant of a cyclone in a very long time. And not to mention, the Burmese government was not in good terms with any other countries at the time. Basically, all of these came together to create a special concoction for a complete and utter disaster. The storm came in, flooded anything that was along the river delta of which it struck, left destruction and death everywhere. The Burmese government, they tried going out, they refused aid for the most part for a very long time before other countries finally convinced them that you have a disaster to recover from, you need help. And once the dust settled, the official death count was counted to be somewhere in the range of 150 to 200,000. These are only the recovered bodies. There is a very strong potential, and there's a few sources that I found that believe this too, that Cyclone Nargis's death total could have very easily exceeded 1 million people once you start talking about the people that were swept out to sea, just lost, gone forever. The people that ended up dying due to large disease outbreaks that happened after the storm, which really would be more indirect than direct, but still caused from destruction of the storm. And once you add up all those little factors that would have come together, Cyclone Nargis is probably the worst disaster in the world's history, at least caused by a tropical cyclone.
Wonderful. Thanks very much for doing that on the experts panel. That was Devon. And I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
See you later.
See you now. And welcome back. This is Force 13 Live. There's the Skype team. There's my face. Hello. We're coming up to 11:30, which means that the voting is closing in 30 minutes. And guys, what did you think of what you just saw, if anything?
I'm disappointed.
You're disappointed?
I am.
Go on.
To be dead on, I'm disappointed.
Why?
Katrina wasn't there. Sandy wasn't there. Any storms that depth. talks about all the time wasn't there, so I feel like
Nargis is now in 5th. Bowler is now in 4th.
Mm.
The
I
very
will-
deadly storms.
I will.
I'm agree with Bola and Nargis boltings,
Yeah.
but I have my questionings in some of
Well,
storms
I
that
tell you
have
what
been
I'm going to
voted.
do right now. I'm going to take a short break from my chair here, and you guys can keep discussing for a few minutes.
Of course,
do
of
agree-
course.
I do agree
Nice.
with him putting Nargis at number 1, probably because I did.
Mm.
But his first couple films were just very questionable. And I don't know. Would you guys agree with me on that?
Yeah.
I'm agree with
Yeah.
Nargis, the number 1 and Bola number 2. Well, whatever if Bola has been
Yeah, but Bowler deserves a spot on
1 or
most lists.
2.
Definitely.
Well, it was
Definitely.
it was very good voting, but I'm questioning about Hurricane Paul or what or the Miami Hurricane as well. But well, it was his votings, and
Yeah.
I don't question like why you voted for that, but I think there have been more important storms than that. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Wow, long silence.
Yeah, this is a long silence.
Come on, say something. It is not difficult to open your mouth.
Nice easier.
As
Oh,
we've
I'm
learned.
pretty sure Strat should be starting his thing soon. I
Mm.
think is Strat next or is it Nelson? I don't remember.
Is it? I think he is. I don't know.
I think it's Strat next.
All right, I'm here now, and Strat is indeed next. If there's any more questions or comments for us, then go right ahead, ask the questions. And actually, someone did. What was the shortest storm ever lived?
I have no idea.
Oh Lord.
The shortest storm was
Tina.
a tropical depression.
Tino,
That might be a
2016,
tropical.
which was a tropical depression for 30 minutes by our estimates.
Oh,
I think it
might
was
be
a
a
tropical.
tropical
I think it was a
cyclone.
tropical disturbance for 1
Oh,
minute.
God.
30 minutes is very, very little.
Ah dear. What can you do?
Tropical depression for 30 minutes.
No, you can't do anything there, you can't control the world, so
no.
Well, Strat's vote is coming up next. It's much shorter, 5 minutes, and just before we reach the cutoff point, we have Nelson as well. So let's go right ahead and see what Strat voted for, shall we? I think some of us know what the answer is already, because I think he just told you. Okay. But,
you may as well
that's
show
me,
it anyway.
yes, here we go. Of course, the viewers are yet to know, and indeed anyone else who isn't in the loop. Here is what Strat had to say. Okay, I'm now joined by Strat, who joins us from the northeastern part of the United States, giving us a perspective from up the East Coast. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. I know it's like early in the morning for you, so you're probably tired.
Oh well, time's irrelevant. Well, I don't know if you want to talk to us about what got you into storms or any storms that you've experienced. Did you experience Sandy particularly over there?
Yes, I did. Although I guess you could say it was more of a windstorm for me because I was on the northern brunt of it, basically. So,
All right.
a lot of power lines. There's actually a bridge collapse in my town, but not a lot of rain and surge because I'm in the sound. So,
Just full of wind.
yep, that was basically Sandy
All right,
for us.
well, let's see if it's on that top 10 of yours. Well, let's start at number 10 first of all and work your way up there. What's your number 10?
My number 10 was Typhoon or Hurricane Gay, whatever you want to call it, because I put it there solely because diversification and also because the way it managed to progress and get such cold cloud tops and everything is something that really impressed me. It's basically its sheer intensity. I didn't put it closer to the top because it didn't have other factors that I liked.
Fair enough. 9?
9 was Hurricane Wilma because of its rapid intensification, lowest pressure in the Atlantic, and I was also impressed by its ability to intensify quite close to land as well.
Yeah, it did quite a bit of that, not far from Honduras, and that eye feature was just crazy when it first got that pinhole eye.
Beautiful. There's gonna be a cringe with the next couple. Patricia's number 8. only cringe because it's doing so well right now on the list, but because of how quickly it intensified, the sheer monstrosity of strength is also quite a strong storm at landfall, but hit sparsely area, fortunately. And then, of course, again, number 7 is Haiyan. Pretty notable recent powerhouse of a storm, basically. That's all I can really say about it, just because if I go on any longer, we're all going to be cringing a little bit.
So many things you can say about Haiyan, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 6 was Typhoon Nina, because mostly because of its death toll. Even though it wasn't like, anywhere near the strongest storms on this scale, the deaths that it caused and kind of the damage that it did because of the deaths was why I put it there. Number 5 is the New England Hurricane of 1938. That's more up there as a rarity storm almost, because the situation's not really been seen much before, and also just because how strong it was that far north, along with its movement speed, was kind of insane to me.
Definitely hasn't been seen since.
Yeah. 4 is Mitch. Put that there because of not only its strength, but the damage that it caused, and the sheer amount of deaths, just because it also hit a pretty bad area in general as well. Number 3 is Hurricane and Typhoon John, because even though it didn't really do much to land, the fact that it managed to survive so long and actually travel such a long distance and maintain some intensity almost the whole time was very impressive to me. So that's why it's that high up. I gave it credit for its endurance, I guess.
Quite so. That's 16 points for John.
Number 2 is Bola of the Northern Indian Ocean. That was really there because not only did it have impressive strength, but it was the deadliest storm on current record, so that had to be there in my mind at least. And number 1, I might get a little bit bashed because I live around there, but Hurricane Sandy, not because it's near me as much as the rarity and how it managed to do what it did, really, is the way to explain it. It's mostly up there for me, not just because of the damage in dollars and everything that it did, but because of how its land interaction with Cuba actually allowed it to merge with the cold front instead of getting absorbed by it, and kind of just turned into a monstrosity. Especially the size of it as well. I have to give it credit there as well.
So here's the big question. Do you think Sandy's overrated?
Probably not. I know there's, you can always say there's some overhype. It is number 1 on this list, but it isn't the most damaging storm of all time. Someone's saying it's the worst.
It's close.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the worst as much as the best.
Wonderful, thanks very much, and we hope to see you again soon.
Alright, thank you.
And we're back. Here I am, and there they are, the Skype team. Let me just bring them back in here, and it seems that John has joined us.
With computer problems out the wazoo.
What did you think of Strat's vote just then? Sandy at number 1.
Interesting. Very peculiar. I haven't been around today since I've been so busy trying to make sure everything is working over here at John HQ that I've had computer problems out the wazoo.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I know. So I haven't been around. Now I'm here since my computer.
Now,
and
your votes went on
frozen.
first, John, and it's been a while. It was Thanksgiving Day, in fact, that we did your votes. What have you changed your mind?
If my computer was not frozen, I could look at the list and say yeah or no. But unfortunately, my computer is frozen and locked up.
Forgive me, but I
so
can't remember
do
what your number 1 was. What was it now?
Katrina? Well, I still support that. I still agree. And that's
Well,
still
Katrina's in
number 1
second
in my
place
opinion.
right now, 1 vote ahead of the Bowler Cyclone, which now occupies 3rd place. Deadliest storm ever, believed to be. Certainly one
And it just stinks that my computer's trying to say screw you and freeze, but
well, one more
nothing I can
question for
do
you,
about
John, just because you've got here. What will your reaction be if Haiyan wins?
It's one last year.
It's one
Why
last
can't we have
year. Should we disqualify
can't-
it? Just because it was a bit late to do
well,
that now, isn't it?
if it wins, I'm like, sure, whatever. I mean, it's what the people decided, not me. It just supports the argument
Patricia
that they
still wins
support.
the public vote with 39, Hyan 33. They haven't changed in a little while, actually.
Hopefully, this doesn't turn into an election joke with with that wording.
I'm always checking to see if there's any new votes because time is fast running out. In fact, there is another vote that's just come in for Wilma, which will put Wilma at now 23 votes, one short of the New England Hurricane of 1938. Wilma occupies which spot? That'll be 12th, so it's just 1 vote behind 11th. Next up, we're going to hear from Nelson and his top 10, and then after that, we're going to be counting down till the closing of the votes, and then we will know who's won the popular vote by then, and then we will have the rest of the experts panel, which there isn't much else of in the final hour. David, have you been thinking? Have you got your thinking cap on over there? What yours is going to be when you do it live?
I've been thinking, and it's been extremely tough. And there are some interesting factors.
I mean, everyone who hasn't yet done the experts panel, that is David, Lachlan, Lee. Maybe you want to collaborate and put together your own list to see which ones you go with. Yeah, that might be something to think about. In the meantime, I'm going to go and show everyone Nelson's votes. He's not joining us tonight, and I'm not sure if he'll be available in the last hour. Hopefully he will, so that we
Nathan?
can actually see. Yes.
And my computer is now unfrozen, so I can give you an answer on whether I still support my list, and that answer is yes. When I considered my list, I considered the three weighting factors. Damage, human impact. Well, that's actually one weighting factor. My bad.
What?
Sorry, I considered a couple weighting factors, even though there's not actual numbers. They're just crude guesstimations in my head of what I think. Okay, which one's higher up? And I just did damage, intensity, and historical significance. Those are my three weighing factors. And the only reason why John's actually only on number 10 on my list is it didn't do any damage. It didn't do any. It was a quite strong system, but it didn't do any damage. But the big weighing factor that determined it being on my list was its historical significance because it lasted for a whole month.
So just to remind you, we've got Nelson up next, then the public voting closes, and then after midnight UTC, we've got David. He's going last, and Isaac, you'll be voting before then, won't you?
Yeah.
As well. So two
when
live
does,
ones.
When does voting close?
For the public voting closed at midnight. We will recognise the winner of the public vote. It looks like it's going to be Patricia. There's a 6-vote gap with just over 15 minutes to go. But let's now get on to Nelson's voting, and we'll be back at the other side of this 5 minutes.
Nice.
Hello, I'm with Nelson, who joins us now from, the Gulf Coast. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Nathan. How are you this evening?
I'm fantastic. And you join us from a place that is somewhat battle-hardened, I guess, is it not?
Well, I don't know how ready it is, but we've certainly had our share of hurricanes here in New Orleans. And I've experienced many along the Gulf Coast, notably Katrina, Rita, Gustav, Isaac, even going to Hurricane Andrew and Opal. I've been vacationing and had to leave vacations in Florida for hurricanes, so I'm very used to that experience.
No escape. You could move further north.
There's always something. Well, my number 10 storm is Hurricane Rita of 2005. As you'll recall, it made landfall shortly after Hurricane Katrina on the west side of Louisiana, East Texas border. At the time, it cost $12 billion worth of damage. In 2016 money, that's a little over $14.6 billion. Number 9 is Hurricane Nina of 1975. It's actually
Typhoon, indeed.
Yes, the typhoon. I'm sorry about that. That impacted Taiwan. It is actually the only Category 4 storm that I have in my top 10, with damage estimates in 1975 of $1.2 billion, which is a little under $5.5 billion today, but massive casualties.
Absolutely. It could well be the deadliest storm ever in the West Pacific.
Number 8 is the Great Hurricane of 1780. It was an Atlantic storm going through the Antilles, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and the USA, among others. Interesting to note about this storm was that the French Navy lost over 4,000 sailors to the storm that were being shipped into the southern United States to help with the Revolutionary War. Is Typhoon Nancy of 1961, impacting Japan, costing $5 million worth of damage at the time, but in today's money, that is just slightly less than $4 billion in damage.
Really?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
The inflation rate has risen greatly even since the 60s. Number 6 is Wilma of 2005, impacting the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The damage was extensive to Mexico, almost $30 billion in damage, which is a little over $35 billion today. Max winds of 185 miles per hour. Thankfully, minimal loss of life. Number 5 is Hurricane Gilbert of 1988, a Category 5 storm impacting Jamaica and Mexico with $7 billion worth of damage at the time. Due to inflation, that amount has doubled to $14 billion in damage. Number 4 is Super Typhoon Haiyan, impacting the Philippines and Palau. $2.8 billion in damage at the time. Obviously, that was only a few years ago, so the inflation-adjusted rate is only $2.9 billion worth of damage, but of course a large loss of life and winds of 195 miles per hour. Number 3 is Hurricane Mitch of 1998, impacting Honduras and Florida in the USA. $6.2 billion worth of damage. Inflation adjusted is shy of $10 billion today, but again, massive casualties that moved it up the list. Number 2 is Typhoon Vera of 1959, impacting the prefecture of Honshu in Japan. At the time, it cost $600 million, but adjusted for inflation, that's nearly $5 billion in 2016 money. And number 1, near and dear to my heart, is Hurricane Katrina from 2005, making landfall in Buresh Triumph, Louisiana. $108 billion worth of damage, inflation adjusted, that's $132 billion, with 1,836 casualties, including my bedroom at my parents' house.
Thank you very much, Nelson, for that, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you a lot more in the future indeed.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
And we're back, and you can see on the screen how that has changed things. Haiyan 115, Katrina 109. My name's Nathan Foy. I'm joined by the Skype team. Hello, guys. You're here somewhere. There they are.
Hello. Yes, hello.
And
Hi.
there's me. Somewhere.
Hello.
All right. And we're going down now. It's 10 minutes until the public voting closes. As long as you get your vote in before midnight UTC, it will be counted. It just might be delayed a little bit. But I don't foresee much of a delay. But definitely, if you send it in before I say it's closed, it will definitely count. It looks like it's between 2.
That's right, and we are.
Oh, Katrina just got a huge shot up the list. It looks like it just got jetted up the list.
Thanks to Nelson.
Yeah.
The Louisiana perspective there. Obviously, he's got to go Katrina.
Yeah, that is pretty much obvious. And same with me. I obviously had choose a couple New England storms, obviously, in my list, because it's just those storms are ingrained into the history and just the how people view systems up where I live. I mean, when people think hurricane, they think Bob, even though Bob's not on the list, but still they think like Bob, Gloria, Hazel, not Hazel, sorry, my bad, Carol, New England of '38. Everyone thinks that these really damaging systems. I mean, I bet if you ask someone who's still alive, who's lived through '38, they'd probably say like it's one of the worst storms they've ever been through. Period. But those people are very much thinning out as they're getting old and dying and all that.
Nice.
I'm surprised that John's actually at 15 on the list right now. I thought it'd be in the 20s
Is
or
it?
30s.
No way.
Yeah.
John is 15. Well, that's thanks to Strat.
How many votes did Strat give John?
Did Strat put it in third on his list?
Oh,
was it Strat? I forget who's done what. I think it was Strat.
I put it dead last on my list.
Yeah, it was Strat. I remember it was. Yeah, you put it
I
in 10th.
I put it a bookend.
Right beneath it was the Great Hurricane, which was voted by, was it Nelson just then? Did he vote the Great Hurricane, or was it the one before? I don't even remember now. But the Great Hurricane does have more votes. It's in 16th. And I'm rooting for the Great Hurricane. I don't influence the voting at all. It's the experts panel and the public vote that does. And Patricia will claim the crown for the public vote very soon, in just 9 minutes' time. And at the moment, it's looking like no contest. I really don't see 6 votes coming in, all for Hyann, in the next 7-8 minutes. But if that does happen, we'll let you know.
Hey Nathan, I think you should vote because you're an expert too.
I'm not going to vote on the experts panel. I have my mind is well, not necessarily my mind, but people can too easily make the accusation that I was influenced by all the other people voting. I'm not sure what I'd say. Because I'm not voting, I can say what I would do. I think Hyann would easily make the top 10. To be honest with you, Hyann, Katrina, Bowler would be in the top 10. Patricia, I'll think on it. Sandy, maybe. Mitch, definitely, because I just like Mitch. It's just a very pretty storm at peak. Nargis, I can definitely see why people have voted for it. Winston, too. I'm not sure whether they'd make my list, however. It's a tough one, and I just looking at them right now, I realise how tough it's been for everyone voting to make their decision, indeed. But
where does Irene rank?
But we will recognise both the public winner and the experts winner and the overall winner in the standings. Irene, I've barely heard a mention of Irene. It wouldn't surprise me if it's got 0 votes, as many storms still do, including Isabel and Ivan.
Oh my!
No votes.
I'm thinking Adam would have voted for Ivan if he voted at all.
And Floyd also without a vote. Felix without a vote. Dean without a vote. Carla Bopa without a vote. Agnes, Devon's favourite, I think, without a vote as well.
Not even an expert vote.
Nothing yet. We have
not even expert.
2 more experts to come, right? So it's going to be very close between Katrina and Hyann, and it would have to be something out of this world for any of the other storms to take the top spot after the experts panel at this point. If you've got any questions or comments for us, do send them in. And in half a minute, we're going to start the 5-minute countdown that we've used before. I haven't changed it one bit. I just still like that countdown thing and the music that plays, all dramatic.
Nathan. I'm thinking over the last week, if I remember to distribute that link to the voting page, I think we would have had a couple almost a boatload. Yeah, but I was busy all week. I had no time
to
do it.
I can do it now. There's 5 minutes.
I doubt any of my friends would answer. It's like Saturday night, and I don't know anybody that would be near a computer right now. But I'll probably put the link in the chat real quick with my friends. But if
You better
did
be
do
real
that.
quick, because time's ticking, John.
So what is it again?
What's what?
Oh, never mind. I'll copy
The link.
Yes.
The link's on the top left. 4-13.com/HW/2016. 4 minutes 35 seconds on the countdown clock there. As votes close in just a few moments' time. So, I guess any more questions to ask the team here? Any other storms that you think have been underperforming in this voting contest?
Well, a lot.
Well, clearly.
That.
Should I include
all the ones I
vote.html?
mentioned that have no votes, yeah. What's that, John?
Should I include vote.html? Or just 2016?
There's no HTML in this instance. 4 minutes to go here. The Great Atlantic Hurricane in 1944, no votes. Gordon, that should have been retired, no votes. Cyclone Gonu, a Cat 5 in the Arabian Sea, no votes. Hurricane Georges managed to hit everywhere in the Greater Antilles, no votes. I've mentioned many of the others. Fifi Orlean, one of the deadliest storms in the Atlantic, no votes. And yet you've got Marco, which has 1 vote.
Thanks to my little brother.
It was a very tiny cyclone, and I pretty disagree of voting in that hurricane. That tropical storm.
Outrageous.
Hey, just thank my little brother, because he's the one who voted for it.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Oh, that was sarcastic.
Just 3 minutes then. This is for the public vote. Don't forget. There are still 2 more rounds of experts panel voting, which could change the total look. The dark blue bars are obviously the public vote there. Patricia is about to win in 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Hyan will come second with 33 votes. Sandy 17, Katrina 15. And I think the Great Hurricane is still in 5th on the public vote with 11. So good on the Great Hurricane, but it's 16th in total.
Nathan.
Yes.
I'm thinking that if I did get that link out earlier, I think we would have had a boatload of Katrina votes. I think. I'm not sure.
Stephen's encouraging everyone to run down to your local library and vote on every computer there. Nice one. Nice one.
It could work.
Definitely.
Good one.
Indeed.
Thumbs up on you!
Yeah. Doesn't look like it's gonna change.
Let's see if I can get a last minute verbal vote.
Well, they're gonna have to come in pretty quick now. There's no new votes coming in at this time.
It'd be hilarious if something like that was to happen.
Nah, maybe, I don't know.
Rest assured, if we do get a flood of like 10 votes too fast for us to compute, we will sift through them in time, even after the voting closes. But I will let you know whenever the public voting is final. And then we've got another hour coming up where we have a lot of fun. You know, we go through the past 2 expert panels, the votes being done live. And then, I guess we'll do Guess the Storm or something. And say goodbye to Hurricane Week, which has been a fantastic project and a very long development phase. Very pleased to have finished it, and I'm very pleased with how good it's been. I hope people agree that it's been good. We've got another submission that's just come in. Let me find out whether it's valid or not. It is. Another vote for Katrina, which puts it to 5, the gap in total. And Katrina has 1 more towards the public vote amount.
That might have been one of my friends that got the link.
We have a top 10 from Lee and Lachlan. Can they be included?
I think that might be a bit overkill. Could you amalgamate them by any chance? Just so that we have the 2 more expert panel votes that are coming up. I do apologise, but we're sort of becoming crammed with expert votes here rather than public vote. We are only supposed to have 2 more rounds. Public voting is
You could always mix them together, David.
Public voting is
Get them on some mind, Liz.
And no further votes have come in, so that is as it is, the final score, so to speak. Patricia wins the public vote, 39, and that will be recognised on the website. The experts panel vote does not have Patricia in the lead, however. It's in 4th at the moment with 69 votes. Hyan is 2nd in the popular vote with 33, the public vote. Sandy 17, Katrina so close to Sandy with 16. And then the Great Hurricane with 11. There it is. Guys, thoughts on that?
Wow. That's not the final list. That's not the final expert list, right?
Not the final list, but that is what the public say.
I'm not agree. Patricia have won in the public voting. I mean, personally, I fully regret of voting on Patricia so high.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh,
because really I recognize that Patricia is overrated. I mean, it was a pretty intense storm, prehistoric by its kind rate of intensification, but it never caused so many damages and deaths.
I think what we've witnessed here is a battle between the Western Hemisphere and the Eastern Hemisphere. The Western Hemisphere voted for Patricia and the Eastern Hemisphere voted for Hyan.
Oh, well, that's
and
right.
then there's Winston quietly in the background.
The Australians voted for Winston, people on the Gulf Coast voted Katrina, people on the Northeast voted for Sandy. Everyone else voted for Patricia.
Well, I'm an exception.
Yeah? Well, what did you vote for?
I voted for Katrina.
Yeah, obviously, there you go.
But I'm in New England. I don't live in the Gulf Coast.
Yeah,
I don't
very
follow,
interesting to see the dynamics of that, yeah. So, into the last hour, and next up, well, I guess we're just going to have a chat for around 15 minutes until I call on Isaac to deliver his verdict. And then...
I'm ready.
You're ready now?
Oh yeah, if you want me to go now.
So how many have you
great.
got? Did you say you only had 5?
Well, because of time constraints, I only was able to do 5.
Okay, so we're only going to give up to 12 points on these. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10... 10 points rather than 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So 10 points for your number 1, which is... which could make all the difference. So, without clouded judgment, what's your number 5?
Well, I did a little nice presentation here, and my number 5 would be
silly me.
Super Typhoon. Quiet, John. Would be Super Typhoon Tip of 1979.
Tips.
Just for the fact that just in terms of pressure, this number 5 was I did it in terms of pressure, other different variants. Number 5 was in terms of pressure, and the storm had a pressure of 870 millibars, as you could tell, and also because of its massive, ginormous size. This is not even at its biggest size, by the way. This is just when it was at its Category 5 peak.
Of course.
And you can obviously see it right here. I have infrared imagery of it. Hold on, let me see. There's infrared imagery of Tip near peak right there, and still a really good-looking storm. Number 4 is let's see here. Number 4 is Super Typhoon Gay of 1992, and yes, it's a weird name, but that's what the JCWC named it. So just get over it.
Not many votes for Gay yet, by the way.
Yeah.
You've just put it up to above the Odisha cyclone.
There's a storm. There's many different years that the name Gay was used. In 1989, it was used in a another storm over here, and it hit a Category 5 in India, and I believe it killed around 1,000 or something people. I forgot about that, but there's Gay. This is near its peak, by the way. All these images are near the storm's peak, and this was taken around 18 UTC on the 20th of 1992, and you could definitely see just the inflow and the outreach of this major storm and how strong it was. And if you look to the northwest, you could see weakening Tropical Storm Hunt. That's Tropical Storm Hunt right there, weakening. And in fact, this storm right here is the one that made the storm weaken as it was heading over towards Guam. Hit Guam as a 100-mile-an-hour Category 2 storm, and killed one person that was trying to sail across the entire world, which I don't know how he got caught up in this storm, but anyways. Going to infrared of this, You guys may have seen infrared of this, and there's it.
Yeah.
This is not at peak. This is not at peak, by the way. This is near. This
Obviously
is
not
after
at
its
peak.
peak.
What do you mean, obviously
No,
not
it's
at
not.
peak?
It's not at peak because I have another imagery of that, but I don't think I could pull that up in time. Moving on.
No, time's
Number
not an
3
issue,
storm
but go on.
is. Yeah. Moving on. The next storm I picked was Hurricane Katrina.
Katrina
Reason
at 3.
being.
At number 3.
Yep.
So
Ooh.
that's been
I
given
choose
6 votes. You do understand what that means.
Yes.
Katrina has taken the lead.
And the reason why I picked Gay, by the way, was because of wind speed. I did Tip because of pressure, and then Gay because of wind speed, because I believe it had one of the most intense wind speeds ever recorded. Anyways, here's a little animation of Hurricane Katrina. You can see it forming there. There's Katrina's right around there, by the way.
Yeah, struggling
Well,
with the
if you-
resolution there.
If you put Katrina at number 3, I'm wondering what are your number 2 and number 1 systems at this point.
Oh, you'll
in
see.
time.
You'll see.
I have my
Will there
fears
be
The reason why-
Texas
John,
Gulf
John,
Coast
quiet.
bias, perhaps?
Reason why I put the storm at number 3 is because obviously because of the amount of deaths, and I rated this by damage. It's the most damaging system ever recorded worldwide. Tropical system ever recorded worldwide, and as you can see, it's making it to Category 1 landfall there in Florida. It goes out, weakens a little bit, goes under an eye wall placement cycle. As you can see,
and just takes
I
off.
think it's around a Category 2 storm at this moment.
Yeah, it's
And
taken
it
a
just takes
while.
off after this.
Yeah,
it did
it
indeed.
starts to intensify a bit.
A
But
bit?
tries speeding. It completes that eye wall placement
There it is.
cycle, and there it is, Category 5. And it goes on up through the Gulf of Mexico, and then later on it makes landfall in Louisiana as a Category 3 storm. And you can see it go up there and make landfall. But anyways, skipping that,
Pretty
let's
to
go
look
on
at,
to
but
the
time does press.
let's go on to infrared. This is infrared imagery of Katrina near peak. You can see the yellow trying to wrap around the center. Didn't fully get around there, but yep. Still nonetheless a Category 5, and a devastating one at that. Next up on the list is the 1970. How do you say the name? The Bola cyclone.
The Bola cyclone?
Bola cyclone.
The
Yep,
one in
and
the
there's
North
imagery
Pacific.
of it.
Yeah, the deadliest storm in the world. So you're giving that 8 votes, so that will put it closer to the top 2. Not
What is this?
Not there yet.
The reason why.
You
The
giving
reason
it
why
the
I obviously gave the storm number 2 is because of the amount of deaths it did. It did at least 300,000 deaths, and then obviously more. It's really uncertain on what it did.
Absolutely.
But it was really devastating, and the poor people had to deal with that. And hopefully, don't have to deal with another storm like this again in their lifetime, because this is really devastating. And as you can see through pictures, the damage it did, it basically destroyed the area where it made landfall because of that storm surge. But anyways, that's really enough of this topic. Number 3 on my list.
One,
number 2. And drum roll, please.
We don't have any
Number
drums.
1.
Cop out, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
This is number 1.
That's a cop out.
Oh, come on.
This is Super Typhoon Haiyan of 2013. And before you get mad at me, the only reason why I picked this because of
Because it's your
overall
display
total.
picture on Skype.
But also, not because of that. It's because of the fact that it made landfall near its peak and killed over, I believe, 5,000 or 6,000 people in the wake of this
You do know
system.
that people across America are going to hate you for this.
And honestly, I don't
Just
care
warning
because the storm was really a very dangerous system. It caused lots and lots of damage and caused $2.6 billion in damages in Philippines in 2013. And just the fact that it made landfall near its peak intensity was just utterly amazing. Again, this is for overall totals. I have a little satellite imagery animation over here, full disc, on my channel here. But let me skip it around. I'm sorry you guys won't be bored by it, but there's a storm right there.
Yeah,
There's it,
I'm just
triggered.
imagining people's reactions right now. I don't know. Some
Yeah.
people obviously wanted High-End to win. It's the second highest in the public vote.
Electric Blue 75 175 says, "I'm leaving for now." Devin face palms, and
Yeah.
I just wrote
High-End has won.
triggered.
Well, Devin can continue to facepalm because he doesn't
High-End hasn't
understand
won
the
yet.
velocity of this storm.
There's still one round of voting to come, and it's going to
And
Yes.
come
here,
from
you
David
guys,
and
this
friends.
would be really big eye candy. This is high-end infrared imagery of high-end near its peak intensity right there.
You can't deny that it's one of the
One
most.
of my favorite images.
You can't deny
but,
that it's one
Devin,
of the most
any-
beautiful looking storms.
Yeah. Definitely one of the most beautiful storms, agreed, that I've ever seen. And I remember I was when I was watching the storm form and turn into the monster it was. I was looking at Force 13 analysis of this, and I saw when it became a 195 mile-an-hour storm. I was just like, my jaw dropped. That the people that will be affected by this, I was so worried for them, but there's nothing really you could do when the storm is approaching. The only thing you can really do is in the aftermath. Is really only could make a difference, and the poor people got affected by this, and it was utterly insane. Just the damage, the storm surge. The storm surge was enormous. It was so strong. It pushed up over I think over 10-ton boats a few feet on shore because of the storm surge. And there's even a video of people hiding out in a 2-story building. And you could see the storm surge just overwhelming, and it was so strong, it literally knocked the foundation off a poor house. And thankfully, the people who recorded it survived. And and then just look over at all the storms.
Someone says, "Can we please disqualify High-End from future hurricane weeks?"
I'll second that.
Can you please be
Devon says Ida deserved more. Ida got no votes. Category 5 Ida in the West Pacific got no votes.
Sad face.
And again, I got this because of overall totals and just because it made landfall near peak. And if any of you guys are getting mad about it, you shouldn't be being mad about it because you'd be sad at the amount of lives lost and houses ruined in a system that made landfall. And I'd really feel for
If
them.
it in America, it'd be a Katrina.
Julio says,
Yes, it would be
Lenny
a
should be in Hurricane Week 2016. Well, don't forget, this is more public than you think. The public voted for the top 100. The whole 100 list to begin with was public voted for. So, they had a massive say into what storms would line up in this year's Hurricane Week. And, we will put up, I guess we'll put up big notices on the website saying Patricia won the public vote for Hurricane Week. Katrina so far is winning the expert vote, and Haiyan is winning the overall vote. 3 different winners.
God. Oh God, this is going to be
Three winners,
this
effectively.
live stream is going to be a plethora of election jokes, isn't it?
Oh, of course.
In the chat right now.
It's just a bit of fun, though. At least this time. It doesn't determine the whole future of millions of people.
True. We can just laugh this one off.
Unless people choose to be so affected by the result.
And here, if you guys are wondering, this is Gay at peak right here. That's Typhoon Gay at peak. White solid convection around the entire center. Obviously, its eye isn't extremely clear. Obviously, its eye isn't really fully cleaned out, but pure white CDO just around the center, and I've never seen it before in any other cyclone other than this one in 1992. This is Gay of 1992. But
okay.
Let me zoom in and look. Anyways, continuing on.
Stephen says, what? Hold on. Before we go on to Stephen's thing, Nicholas says Matthew should have been on here. I'm not sure if you mean should have or shouldn't have. Obviously, it wasn't. Well, it was a bit early for Matthew.
Let's not talk about Matthew, please.
No, it's not. No more, please. No more.
Stephen
please.
says,
more hype.
What storms did you think should be on the public 100 that aren't?
Bob.
Bob?
Yeah,
Betsy.
Bob,
Betsy.
I guess it could replace
Betsy.
Marco.
Betsy.
Betsy.
Audrey.
Devon's also putting on lots of storms, including the 1823
Yeah.
Bay of Bengal cyclone, which we've researched. It had a pressure of 897 millibars, by the way, the most intense storm in the North Indian Ocean, which not many people know about at all.
No.
I hope we can do more to educate people about the history of storms in the future, because there's a lot of things that happened in the past that not many people know about. An 887 millibar Category 5 typhoon in the Westpac in 1927 that was headed for Taiwan but missed in the end. The most intense storm in the world until 1951, when Typhoon Marge, I believe, overtook it. So that is something in the history.
Only issue is that March was reportedly having 150 mile/hour winds, which is completely.
Yeah, that is ludicrous. But usually pressure is much more reliable than the wind speed. You can't really deny the pressure.
Exactly.
All right. Well, David, are you ready? I mean, this is going to be quite monumental, you know, because.
How many points are up for grab here?
David, how many storms have you got there? Are you going to go with 10 or
10.
Is it less? You've got the whole 10.
I'm going for 10.
You've figured out the order.
And I'm going to...
Let's go through this very slowly.
Yes, because I've got to factor in the other
two.
Okay, number 10
Go
is Tropical Cyclone Patricia.
Patricia is at David's number 10. Now, do wait on me for this whilst I update the results in real time. So Patricia gets 2 votes from David, which puts it at its final total of 71.
Should probably bold that to say final.
Yeah.
It was the strongest hurricane on record in the eastern, North Pacific and North Atlantic basins. The hurricane turned north-northeast and weakened substantially before making landfall along a sparsely populated part of the coast of some southwestern Mexico as a Cat 4.
All right, we're ready, David. Let's move on to number 9.
Number 9, Winston.
Winston, so low.
Well, as I said, it's been a tough choice. Very tough.
So I'm very curious to see what your top 8 is going to be now that one of the closest Category 5s to your doorstep has gone. Winston's final number is 56.
It's the 1979 Typhoon Tip.
Respectable. I approve.
So Typhoon Tip overtakes Wilma and is now at 34 votes.
So do I.
Its final total.
Rapidly intensified, and reached peak winds of 305 kilometers an hour, 190 miles per hour, and a sea level pressure of 870 MBAR.
Millibars, yes.
Millibars.
Okay, number 7.
Yeah.
With consensus, Katrina.
Katrina's your number 7. Now that makes it very interesting. So Katrina's going to get 8 votes there, which doesn't put it into the lead. David, you've just confirmed already that Haiyan is going to win overall.
Yes, there will be disappointment, but number 6 is the Great Hurricane of 1780.
Nice, the Great Hurricane. I like the Great Hurricane. Well, I don't, but I don't like what it did, but I do like the Great Hurricane.
20,000 deaths.
A hell of a lot.
Killing
indeed.
more than 20,000. Known as the Great Hurricane of 1780.
And that's just overtaken the New England hurricane.
Now, down here in the southern hemisphere, number 5.
Okay.
Tropical Cyclone Pam.
Pam. Now, Pam has been forgotten as well. How many votes does Pam have? I've not seen it. It can't have many.
20.
It's got 20.
Well, I'm thinking about
right?
sea surface temperature because I tracked that one, and the sea surface temperature was 30. I think it was 31 plus.
Yeah, they were very high sea surface temperatures indeed. So Pam moves up to just behind Wilma in 12th place.
Number 4. The Labor Day Hurricane in 1935.
Another good pick.
That
I've
one's
got
been
to
forgotten.
say. It has been very forgotten. The Labor Day hurricane, where is it on the list? Can anyone see it?
Sorry, guys. I've been torn to pieces.
So the Labor Day hurricane's your number 4. Is that right?
Number 4, mate.
So that's got 14 votes there, which makes it 16. So it is now just below John. Just below John.
It made a jump from like 0.
The strongest landfall, the most intense landfall on US soil, is less notable or appreciated in the list than John. The longest lived.
The longest.
Yeah.
Where did that jump from, actually?
Thank you, Strat, for voting for John.
Strat's fault.
No, where was Labor Day before it was here? Was it like 48th or something?
It was way down. I don't know now.
It had a huge jump, didn't it?
Where is it now?
So we've
17th
interfered with it a lot then.
It was
well,
doing
I gotta
terribly.
say,
It was doing terribly.
I'm honestly surprised by David's picks. I didn't expect them. A couple of them I did, but a couple of them I didn't. But we're not done with it yet. Let's move on.
Go on, here we go.
Now, my
Very
last
interested to see what these are.
the second and third slightly out of place. So number 3, I think I'm right, is Hurricane Gilbert.
Hurricane Gilbert, you're number 3. That's very interesting.
That hikes it up the list by a huge margin, doesn't it?
It puts Gilbert up to 31 votes, which is right behind Pam, and overtakes the Great Hurricane of 17.
That's a huge jump. That's a huge jump.
Number 2.
Yes.
Oh, I love this silence.
Yes, it is.
And this is where I got it out of order because I've edited it 3 times. Katrina.
You've said Katrina.
Have I? Oh.
You've said Katrina.
Unless you want to put Katrina at number 2 in place for the other one you said earlier. What is?
All right. Well, I'll go. Yep. So
What?
Katrina will be number 2.
Katrina will be number 2.
Number 3.
Hold on a minute. Hold on, David.
Hold on a minute.
Hold on. If you're putting Katrina, if you're putting Katrina at number 2, you put Katrina initially at number
8.
Was it 8? No, it was 7.
I think it's 8.
That was 7.
Yeah, I
You
did.
put Katrina at
number
so
7.
What's going to be your number 7?
Yeah,
Then?
I've missed one. Now, where have I put Gilbert? I
Forget Gilbert.
apologise for this. Gilbert. Where did we
Forget
put
Gilbert. You've said what?
I'm confused.
What 2 storms have you got left?
You could always help John out here and push
I've
that
got
up.
1 left.
You can't have 1 left if you're voting for Katrina at number 2.
David, you could just
All right, number 2. Sorry, go, Lee.
Go on.
David, you could just put a random one into number 7. So
Tracy.
You're going to put Tracy
Tracy
at number 7 and Katrina at number 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
That'll fill it in.
Good idea.
That'll fill it in.
I approve.
Right.
Oh
my God.
I see. Now I've got a bit of maths to do here. So
I was not
Just
expecting
subtract
you.
8 from Katrina and then add from
dear.
yeah, I know that.
That's all you gotta
Yeah,
do.
I'm onto that, but I'm trying to find Tracy as well, which currently has no votes. So I'm sure you'll be pleased to see that Tracy's now up to 8 votes. So Tracy's on 8 votes, which is just behind Paul and just ahead of Gay, which Isaac voted for. And so
in the center,
Yep.
Katrina is going to be back in the lead again. I'm just formatting this right as we speak. There's going to be riots in the streets on this one, David.
I was not expecting this.
Katrina is back into the lead thanks to David.
Katrina's
And don't tell me that your number 1 is what it could be. What is your number 1?
God.
Okay.
This'll be
The number
terrible.
1 position goes to Tropical Cyclone Mahina.
Oh, yeah.
Katrina wins.
I was waiting for a high end.
Katrina wins.
And
That's what we'll
Mahina-
vote there for.
Oh, yes. Katrina has one.
Could be reclassified to be
I'll
the
just
most
tell you that
deadliest
top 10
cyclone in
out.
Australia's
Random.
history.
You've put us on a ride, David, you know? You've taken us for a ride here.
And Mahina jumps to 10th
He's moved his
position.
music.
Really awesome.
But listen,
Katrina at the top.
Cyclone Mahina.
Oh my.
The central, the intensity upgraded to 880, but that could be, it could fall below the 880 because I think the WMO has got a request to consider making it the most deadliest cyclone in recorded Australia's history. The ABC did a news report on the 26th of December 2014.
Not got anything better to do.
And they
After Christmas.
they actually about 300 people died when the system made landfall at Bathurst Bay, a popular spot for pearling fleets on the Queensland Cape York in March 1899. It was almost a perfect cyclone, and it retains, and I stand corrected, it has the world record for storm surge.
Possibly.
Yes, 13 meters. But I
Let's,
don't know how much that is in feet,
let's
so
reiterate
translate.
the top 10s then. We've sort of got 3 top 10s in all. The public top 10. Number 1's Patricia with 39 votes. Haiyan in second with 33. Sandy 17. Katrina 16. The Great Hurricane in 5th with 11. And then I think it's... I'm not sure where we are now, or whether it might
It is
be
Winston.
Winston after that. And then Sudalore is also with 7. And then I'm just looking out for the next one.
I think it's Mitch.
Mitch after that. And then, is it straight to
Tip.
Tip.
I think it's straight
And
to
then
Tip.
Wilma
Joaquin-
and Gilbert.
No, Andrew has
And then
5 votes
Gilbert,
as well. Andrew is
and
above Tip.
Bahola,
Andrew.
Labor Day, Katarina.
Andrew was
The
very
Odisha
forgotten by
Cyclone.
us.
The Odisha Cyclone has 6 public votes, not voted once by the experts. So the experts panel, you can see their top votes. Katrina 120 was their number 1. Haiyan 92. Bowler Cyclone 89. And then it's Mitch with 58. Nargis with 52. Winston with 49. Sandy also with 49. Nina with 42. And then Mahina with 35. Is that 10? I think we're nearly at 10. And then Patricia and Pam tied for 10th with 32 each in the experts running. And then of course the overall, Katrina 136, Haiyan 125, Bola 91, Patricia 71, 66 Sandy, Mitch 63, Winston 56, Nargis 52, Nina 42, Mahina 35. All I can say as a neutral, or somewhat neutral, is that I'm just thankful that we have... I think Katrina deserved it. After so many years of not being number 1, it finally got there this year.
Last year,
So
when
I remember
when I
Katrina
found
well.
out- Last year, when I found out last year's Hurricane Week that Katrina was number 2, I was in complete rage mode.
Oh.
I was salty. But again, at the same time, I did respect your overall choice for number 1, Nathan. I did respect. Or do we all agree with that? Or I don't know.
Last year?
How do we determine last year? How do we determine last year's Cat 5s?
Who knows? By the way, we've got 30 more minutes left to run. It's been a very fun evening, by the way. If anyone wants to guess
did
the
we do a
storm,
public vote?
if anyone wants to guess a storm in the last 30 minutes, then now's your opportunity. For Hurricane Week 2015, no, it was not a public vote. It was all Category 5, so I put the data together, figured out which one, in my opinion, was worst. It's all down to me last year, as it was in 2012. We won't be doing a Hurricane Week quite like this one for some time.
At least 4 or 5 years.
Several years it will be until we decide we're going to do another public vote.
Maybe every 4 years.
Just because if we were to do it next year, I really don't think the results would be any different.
True.
I think, why don't we just have like fun polls maybe on the site running? Just for fun.
Yeah, of course, but we're not going to do a Hurricane Week based round 1.
Nah. We'll save that for 2024. We'll save that for that. Well,
So,
no, Force 13 is still around in 2024. Why don't we do it again?
2024, that's very specific.
That's 6 years from now. I thought that was a good number.
8 years from now.
Sorry, 8. My
Thank
bad.
goodness John wasn't in charge of the
We almost-
voting counts tonight. Otherwise it would have been all wrong.
I have a 97 in calculus. I would have been fine.
You sure?
I make calculation errors all the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I just make calculation errors every once in a while. Happens.
Lachlan, any thoughts?
On the voting poll.
Yeah. What were you? Which one were you going for?
Winston.
Winston, I thought so. Do you think it deserved to be in 7th place, which it is, or higher?
No, I think it should have been higher.
Higher
Yep, I support that.
in place, which storms do you think it should be higher than?
Let's go for some images.
I don't know. Maybe Sandy or Patricia. I wouldn't put it right at the top. But...
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, well, if you've got any more comments for us in this last half hour, then you go ahead. But I was laughing earlier at Stephen's comments when it was all going on. The voting process has been declared null and void due to voter error, David.
Yeah, it was good to see Katrina win it this time.
I'll take that one on board, Stephen.
Mashed Potatoes says, I'd really like to see another 2013 style Hurricane Week. Interesting, because I'm not sure how well received 2013 was, to be honest. So
well, obviously we have a fan.
if we do think of a new theme for Hurricane Week 2017, and your opinions are of course always very welcome, then we'd love to hear it, and it will be considered. Now David's showing us a picture of Mahina's track. Is that David?
Yes. Now, it was a clash of two systems, and for the team and the viewers, when have we ever seen a clash of two systems like this? You got a monsoonal disturbance Natron, and you got the tropical disturbance which became a Cat 5 Mahina. Mahina came from the northeast over probably where Pam formed, but you can see the eastern edge of the Solomon Sea and Solomon Islands region.
David, it would surprise me if Mahina managed to gain such intensity whilst it was so close to Papua New Guinea. I have a feeling it dipped to the south a little bit before arriving in Australia.
Yes.
Well, Monica did that too, though. It was very close to Papua New Guinea. Yeah,
it wasn't a Cat 5 though. You mean over there on the left hand? Yeah, but not in that exact position that Mahina was.
Let's see the viewer. Go on.
As soon as you're done with this little thing, I want to show you. It says Guess the Storm.
You're doing Guess the Storm now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we've seen Mahina enough. Thanks for showing us that, David.
All right.
We'll get on to.
You ready?
Go ahead, John. Bit of fun in the last half hour of Hurricane Week 2016.
Here's your storm.
What have we got? Uh-oh, this doesn't sound good. I can't see it.
I can't see it either.
I can't see it either.
No one sees it.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Not laughing at
John,
yourself. That's what you're doing.
your screen share is trash.
Working? Okay, we try again.
Yes, might be a good idea.
Okay, is it working now?
No.
Find a better screen share.
Ah, be right back.
Waits 10 minutes for John to find a storm.
Oh, it was loading. Oh no, it's someone else's. We're looking at David now. Who's that? Who's showing us that?
I'm not.
Maybe that was John.
Okay.
Yes.
The reason why I was laughing was I was laughing at a meme on my phone I received.
I see.
So
you got distracted.
Yes, I did. Now here it is. You guys ready
Finally.
for it? Here
Yeah,
we go.
we're only live, John. It doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, I got distracted. Here it is.
About time too. Oh, for goodness sake.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess colon.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad.
That was the one I was thinking.
Yep.
This is Colin.
Yes, it's Colin.
Goodness me. You guys.
Tropical cloud Colin.
Wow.
John,
Okay.
if you want to send it through to me, I'll remain neutral.
Okay, all right. That was just a joke one.
Oh,
all right,
dear.
I'll have a real
Someone
one
else
set
is
up in a
laughing
minute.
now.
All right.
By the way, XCan wants to know
Yes,
how many votes Camille got. Camille was on the list. Someone thought it wasn't just now. And believe me, I'm very aggrieved with Camille's score. It should have done a lot better. Camille ended up, how many votes in the end? Oh, I can't even find it. 1 vote.
Boo, that's terrible.
Boo.
1 vote for
That's
a
terrible.
Category 5
Yeah.
landfall that made landfall at Category 5 intensity on the Gulf Coast.
Terrible.
I should have been on camera for that laughing streak. Whatever.
Clearly.
I literally lost it.
Electric Blue wants to know what is my top 1 favourite storm.
Top 1.
Yeah, top 1. I'll tell you what I did
That's
in
difficult.
That one's
the.
very
What I
tricky.
did do
I've got
is that
one choice.
I lodged a public vote during the during the voting contest, and my public vote, the one vote that I had, didn't go towards any of the top 5. It actually went to Mitch, because I said I
Oh
liked
my.
Mitch. I liked it. I just like the look of it. Obviously, don't like what
Mitch
it did.
the
But
censored.
you couple those two together, and I put in Mitch.
Open in paint. All right.
And also because we like to make a little running joke about Mitch as well within the Force 13
Yeah,
team,
you guys
which you
will-
will
you guys
not,
probably know
which you will not mention. Now,
On live air? Yeah, let's not talk about it.
who's got to guess the
I
storm?
have a
then,
storm.
anyone?
I got
Yes,
one. This
Devin
one should be
sent
an
me
easy
one.
2 people have
Here we
one.
go.
We'll go with John first,
well,
Isaac.
Okay.
If it's another cloud, John, you will
Screens.
not be allowed to show another one.
It's not a cloud. It's an actual storm.
Ah, so it is. It's a bunch of clouds.
Gilbert.
It's an actual
Yes.
storm, so it will be future.
No,
Storm
it's
of the
yeah,
night, huh?
it's
This is
mature
Hurricane Linda.
Oh dear.
Patricia.
Oh,
Hang on,
that's
hang
even
on,
worse, I
hang on.
guess.
I got it. Okay, is my screen share showing?
Yes,
Still.
you bet it is.
Yes.
It's just
Definitely.
okay. Good. I gotta look it up to get you guys hints because this is one I received from Devin. All right.
I
That
hope
type
on
of ditto.
I hope on this final day that the viewers actually get to win.
Oh,
I'm
that
gonna
would be
remain
pretty
impartial.
Can someone watch the viewers, please?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. The viewers
Yeah.
versus the team. So good luck, viewers. I'm rooting for you tonight, definitely.
Okay.
Apparently someone said that Cloud may have been Bonnie.
Maybe I should represent the viewers. How about that? I'll represent the viewers.
This
As
is
well as the viewers themselves.
Hurricane
Okay. What was the other votes we had in?
Pauline.
Pauline.
So let's see. What could we say this is? Ah, it's a
Is
tough
that
one.
Nida?
What?
Nida,
Nina?
2009? Is that Nida? Nida.
No.
Guess is coming
Nina?
in. Liza and Hurricane Isis.
Interesting. Of course.
I swear to God, if
It's
this is
gotta
if
be
this
one.
is Super Typhoon Mike. if this is
I'm
Super Typhoon Mike,
telling that because of the lols.
Yeah.
Done. It's just Mike. Super Typhoon Mike of 1990.
It's clearly taken from HERSAT, which spans from 1979 to 2009. So it's within those.
Oh, that's a nice,
within that
very
range.
small area.
And that's the Baja California Peninsula in the top right hand, or top left hand.
Of course. So I'm wondering here what it might be.
That-
The
is that,
quality makes
Hurricane
it look
Lily?
like it's a little
Is
bit
that-
later on, maybe.
Was Hurricane and Andres? I don't know.
Is that Hurricane Rick? Rick?
Won't be deal with it.
Better not.
I can tell you this much. Isaac. It's not. At least it's gonna give you up though.
What?
Oh, for
At
goodness
least
sake.
if you since you
More
guessed Rick,
guesses.
it said it's gonna give you up.
More guesses on the viewers. Kenna
Kenna? It's actually
and
not that bad. of a guess.
Celia. No, none of those. It
You
seems.
guys, are you guys dying for a hint?
If you're going to provide one,
No.
then we're not going to say
Yeah.
no.
Okay. I'll give you
Hurricane.
one number. All right, and I
One
want you
number.
guys to figure out this number. All right. 150.
150.
It was a category 4 hurricane.
I'm not gonna confirm or deny it.
Well, he said 150, so that confirms it.
It depends if it
He
I
might
said
mean-
I'm gonna give you a number.
He might
That's
mean
it.
$150 million in damages.
Oh, shoot.
Damn, that really messed me up.
I can't think right now of a storm that would be located in that location that isn't necessarily recent. Martina said Andres, but I think that was guessed already, was it not?
Yes, it was guessed by me.
It's not
Adolf.
Oh God, Adolf. Jeez.
I don't think it's the right
Adolf.
place, but the only storm I can think of right now was one that I think was in Hurricane Week 2013, ironically, and that would be Ishmael. Without a H in it.
I misspelled it.
Yeah, spelled it horrifically.
Better?
Horrible.
Okay, how do you
1995, I
spell
believe.
it then?
Oh, never mind. Move on. It isn't the right answer. Hello. Oh, it's Daniel. Welcome, Daniel. Any
Yeah,
ideas
fine.
what this storm might be?
I have no idea. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Shame.
Surprised he hasn't said bubbles.
Shame on you, Hudson. You should know.
I need a clue.
Yeah.
Am I allowed a clue?
Well, we know it's a Mexican storm.
It was. It's Trudy.
Gustav.
Gustav.
I guess that.
Oh.
At least you have to
Martinez
guess a
thinks it
freaking
might be
name.
Paul. I really don't think it is, though. I was thinking about it just a moment ago.
Is it Hurricane Jermina?
How about Gilbert?
Xcan
Oh,
guesses
Mason.
that it might be Javier. Gilbert.
Kevin.
What's going on?
No, I just guessed that.
Ah, sorry.
Raymond.
Kevin, I think last year's Kevin.
It is Hurricane Tina.
Ooh,
Tina.
Tiny Tina. I'll use Cesar's guess because John didn't hear him. Kevin. If that's right, I've been having my head up. No.
Okay,
Martinez
okay, I'll
suggests
give you
it
a
might
hint.
Be, Martinez first says it might be Marty.
The damage amount was. You know what? I'm not gonna give you damage. I'm gonna.
The damage
there
amount
were
was
six
$150
direct.
million, right?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not that actually. The damage is
Virgil.
8 million. US
Damage
1993
was
US dollars.
1993 US dollars.
So it's 1993.
Okay, so clearly a 1993 storm.
Virgil.
But
Beatrice?
no.
No.
I think I shouldn't have said the year dollar
Yeah,
amount.
clearly
'cause
not.
You guys are gonna
'cause
go
people
crazy.
are going to look it up now, aren't they? And find the storm that closely matches the picture. And then they'll say it. And then they'll get it right. Hopefully it's a viewer that
Well, the
does that.
viewers are not gonna, they have a better shot at that.
Joe
Martinez
since
thinks
that's
it
the
might
case,
be
I'm-
Hillary.
I just realized my mic was on mute this whole time.
Oh, damn.
Is this Alvin?
Joba.
No.
Lydia.
Okay, since
Will Wikipedia save me?
Oh,
Is
dear.
it Linda?
Lydia, who
Yes.
said that?
Oh.
Cesar Games.
Did Cesar say that?
Linda? Yes, I said Linda.
You said
No, I said
Linda,
Lydia.
not Lydia. This is void.
No, I said Linda and Lydia.
Oh, you did?
Both.
Okay, we'll give it
Yes.
to you. Just because.
Does not help my situation.
How about
We'll
Hova?
go for
I guess Lydia.
Sorry,
candidate of America,
How about Hova?
Hurricane
I feel
Phil.
like Isaac, did you have one?
I just said
Wow.
Lydia and Kenneth.
Yeah, Lydia is likely to be.
No, I mean, did you have a guess the storm?
Lydia is right,
Oh, yeah, I did.
guys.
I did.
God.
Okay,
Tell
I have
I got
one. I have one. Who's going first?
Oh,
Sorry.
we'll go to Isaac first, because he's been waiting.
Okay.
I prepared a guess storm as well, so
This should be an easy one anyway, so Orlando should have time with his. But what storm is this?
Oh.
It has an angry face on it.
Oh, I
It's
don't
an
know.
angry
It
face. No.
might.
Angry
I
face.
think it looks just burningly familiar.
I can't see anything.
Okay, Ivan. Let's,
Yeah, it's Ivan.
It's
Who said it
Ivan.
first,
I
though?
couldn't see anything.
Yes,
I couldn't
I got
even
it
get
for the
it first.
viewers.
Yes.
1-1.
Why?
Look
You
at,
give us an
guys,
easy
look at this.
one.
Look at this detail.
Why?
It's an angry face. There's an angry face
Yeah.
right there. See it?
Why would you give us such
Yeah,
an
and
easy
the whole thing
storm?
is a
I'm
smiley
mad.
face as
Okay,
well.
guys. I was unable to see it the whole time because Skype is awful, and
Damn.
it's being annoying. And I actually,
Look at that
Yeah,
angry
it's
face.
like
so you're
it has
welcome.
to be Lydia.
Oh well.
Lydia is
angry-
100.
Everyone thought it was Gilbert, by the way. We're one each. We're one each. Orlando,
Okay,
you're up next.
Lachlan. Lydia was the last storm that was already done. This was Ivan, all right?
Angry
Oh,
face.
right. Okay.
Is
You
this
missed that
Orlando?
Orlando's up now, yeah.
Yeah, that's Orlando.
Okay.
Is
A
this,
radar shot.
the
Orlando,
West
I
of the-
can't see it.
Oh,
Orlando, I can't see it.
Now
Can't
it's got
see
a
it.
location there.
Yes,
at the
it is.
bottom.
It's a Western Pacific storm.
I don't think
I
it
can't
is.
see it.
Why is Skype annoying?
Couldn't.
Well, it's west.
Annoying.
Oh, is that Hurricane Helen of
Yeah,
1958?
No.
West
no,
is
never
Western
mind.
Hemisphere. It's not the West pack.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes, I
It's
remember
Hurricane
that.
Helen.
I've had an argument with someone about this.
So Hank got that
This
right.
is Hurricane Helen. I got it right.
Yeah, it's going by way too quick. So that's 2-1 to the
Screen
team.
share is failing. Screen share is failing over here.
Oh dear.
My
Well,
Skype
Someone's.
it wasn't here.
Someone's
The
going to
guesses
have
did
to
come in
leave.
for Nancy. Oh yes. So does anyone else have more? I'm sure the viewers want to win. I want to win.
I think
Okay, guys.
I can't see any
when
screen share. I
There
can't
is
see
somebody
there
it.
is
has
a
something
button.
prepared,
I have.
The
I
screen
have a
share
question.
has stopped now because it's went over 9 people.
Right,
So-
I've got one.
yeah.
So,
I have a storm going. See if you want to guess it.
Too
Alright,
many
go ahead,
people.
Cesar.
Too many
I've got one.
people.
Pull it up. No, the screen share's are
Okay.
working still.
What's this?
They're working.
Working.
They're working.
Maybe
loading.
it should be screen sharing.
So
Ah, it's
I,
on Craig at the
I should
moment.
screen share or not?
No.
It's loading.
I've got one.
Okay.
Or is there too many folk on the bloody call and one needs to get booted?
Yeah, there's too many people on the call.
I don't think that's the issue, otherwise it wouldn't let you even begin. We're just waiting for it to appear, which is taking a very long time, and it doesn't appear that it will appear.
Blame
Well-
Scotland
Oh, it's here.
Internet.
Oh, there it is.
But no, then it's
Oh.
up now.
That looks like an EPAC storm.
I think it's Craig's actually.
It is Sea Pacific and looks like it is
Well, it's Northern
Darby.
Hemisphere.
It's not,
And it
doesn't
is
look
not
like Darby.
It
That
is
looks like. That looks
Is it
like,
Daniel? Is it Daniel?
no, it is Georgette.
It's gotta be that. What's the
Oh.
storm this year? Is it Madeline?
No.
No, it is Georgette.
No, it starts with an I. What's it called? I.
I've
What
no
was the
idea.
I name storm from last year?
Is this
Is
Ignacio?
Ignacio?
No, Ignacio had a stadium effect high
Jimena.
and this. No,
Jimena.
Jimena was more circular.
Guesses coming
And
in.
more-
Blas, Genevieve,
That could be
Ivan.
It is Georgette.
Ivan? What basin are you in?
Westpac, I guess.
That's
Maybe.
all.
Hey, but who's confirming the guesses? Who's screen sharing that?
That's Craig, isn't it?
Me.
Yeah, more guesses
Is this
coming in.
Hurricane-
Irene, Isel,
Is this Hurricane
Oh, dear.
Olaf?
No, it's not.
No.
Let's stop the Frozen references there, please.
Okay, it was a guess. I'm
It
sorry.
is-
I'll just be the voice
Don't
box with the viewers here.
hurt me.
Kilo, this just came in there.
No. For God's sakes.
I want to be
Um,
cute. Isel?
Nope.
It is. It is. Oh, I forgot the name.
Good name.
Is
Hurricane
Hello.
Air.
Hurricane Air.
It is Hurricane Fausto.
Oh dear, no.
Freaking postal at this rate.
It is Hurricane.
Oh gosh.
Shoot.
Hurricane.
Random
Is this Hurricane Adrian?
Oh dear, no.
It is Hurricane.
What's the name? Hilda.
Hurricane Kenneth.
Nope.
More guesses
Hurricane
came
Hilda.
in. Julio,
Hurricane-
I guess it came in.
Hurricane Jova.
Okay.
It is a hurricane.
Last was already said.
Yes.
Bill.
Gemini.
Very clearly, Orlando. Very clear. Craig, can you give us some geographical direction here?
This is an EPAC. But
Greg, can you please
Is
take
it
note
EPAC?
of all the guesses to not repeat it,
East
please?
Pack, yeah.
Is this Hurricane Lester of this year?
No, it is not.
Is it?
Clearly, it's
Dora.
an specific storm.
It is not Dora.
It's clearly not Patricia.
For
Hurricane
God's sake,
Strike
don't
for
go
John.
there.
No, it's Typhoon
Strike,
Hip.
strike request for John.
Is it Kilo?
I'm gonna drop a key
Hurricane
in here,
Simon.
But is it Gemini? Or Gemini, or whatever you
Is it
pronounce it.
Loki?
Is it Orly?
Is it Hurricane Foyson?
What if I told you you're all getting further away?
Hurricane.
Yeah, we're getting colder. It's the mercury's dropping.
It is Hurricane Emilia.
More guesses coming in. Georgette was already said, and Alex.
Oh, triggered.
Oh, yes.
Olaf.
Cesar hates that storm. Seymour's just come in as well.
Well, I guess we're not going to see any more answers at this rate.
It is
Oh,
not
come
Emilia.
on.
And a guess.
Oh,
Karen.
unreal.
It's the cordiest joke I've
Just
ever
no.
heard.
Olaf.
Angry
Not
face,
Dora.
John. Angry face.
No problem. I'll take it.
Angry
Hurricane.
face.
I'm
Hurricane-
definition of a troll.
Hurricane Eugene.
No.
I'm trying to think.
Shoot.
Is that Hurricane Azelle?
No, it is not.
No, it is Carlos.
Jesus Christ, Cesar got it.
Is this Hurricane Felicia?
Wait a minute.
Cesar.
I got it.
What did he say?
Cesar got it. It was
I
Carlos.
said Carlos.
Carlos.
Oh,
It's
Yeah,
not
you
the
deserve a
disappointing
round
one
of
from
applause.
last year.
For some
It
reason,
wasn't
I
the
picked the
disappointing one
correct
that was last year.
there.
Right?
Well, damn. That's 3-1 to the team.
guys, I have a guess if you want to see it.
Okay.
Yes,
Let's see.
time
Let's
for
So
one
you
see
do
more.
that,
Okay.
and
One more only, I'm
let's-
afraid.
Let's go.
But at some point in the future, I promise everyone, viewers and team alike, that we will do a show dedicated to Guess the Storm.
This one
it's
looks
gotta be a
beautiful.
typhoon.
This
Oh,
one
I've
looks
seen this
beautiful.
Is that Nuri? Is that Typhoon Nuri?
No, it is not Murray.
Yes, Daniel?
Can I ask when does Hurricane Week end?
Oh, all you want is for it to end, isn't it?
No!
You're in luck. You're in luck.
Of course,
It's in 8
of
minutes.
course you want it to end. Okay,
Oh,
okay,
so
okay,
it doesn't
okay.
carry on to Sunday then?
No, it doesn't. We have a lion on
Oh
Sunday.
We
my
started Sunday. Okay. All right, calm the
Alright.
hell down.
A
Calm
day
down.
to go to
Alright,
church.
Okay.
We're not calming down, man.
You triggered? Okay.
on.
That could that be? I don't. Okay.
Guess
I'm
is coming
prepared.
in
I'm
from
prepared.
the
I'm
viewers.
prepared.
Pseudolore.
It is not Surelor.
I'm prepared to get wrecked here.
Um,
Please don't kill me for this. Is it Nicole?
What?
Nicole, did you
Isn't that
say?
name?
He said Nicole.
No.
More guesses coming in. Francisco
Nope.
and Bonnie.
No.
Oh,
Ophelia.
It is not Ophelia.
It says how long?
It is not Halon.
How long we gonna get this? How long till we get this storm?
John,
You didn't get it right, John. You need to go to Alcoholics Anomalous, as you once said. That's a blooper, by the way. Wait till the blooper reel.
Oh, you guys are gonna
If you
love
want
it.
to know
It's gonna
about
be
the
a great
bloopers, we
Christmas
don't have the
present.
blooper reel ready yet. We're going to wait till the end of the year if you want to see the bloopers, if you're wondering about those.
Why don't we? Why don't we just give it? Why don't we just give it to the public as a Christmas gift?
Well, I might give it as a Christmas gift. More guesses coming in. Olaf and Lion Rock.
No.
I don't see a line on a rock here.
I will give you a
Like,
hint.
yeah, why don't we just go with long wangs?
I will give you a hint.
Oh,
It is not long
okay,
one.
okay.
This is a typhoon.
Okay.
This is
Oh,
a
it's a
typhoon.
typhoon.
Okay.
Oh,
What do I know?
Cesar, you're
That
going to love
now-
this. Another guess is coming for Alex.
Triggered. Shame on you.
Okay.
Not me.
Why not we? Not you, Nathan, the viewer. Now we're gonna go with Okay. Craig says fan phone, and
It is
how long?
not fanphone. It is not Halon.
Did you get the guess for Von Phone?
No, it is not.
Someone's,
Halon.
just guessed Vera.
No, not Vera, not Ramazan.
And Jones.
Is this? It's not ramming into this time. Okay.
And Whiffar.
Is it Malor?
And
Not
Nancy.
Melor. Not Nancy.
Is this
Is
Maggie?
it Maggie? Could be Maggie.
Not Maggie.
And a guess now
Is
for
it Winnie?
Bofa.
What?
Winnie?
Bofa? No, it's not Bofa.
Craig guessed
Not
Winnie.
Moranti. I know that.
Okay, I will give you another hint. That storm occurred between 2000 and 2000.
Oh, we lost the signal there for a moment. Can you repeat that?
Rip.
The hint is that typhoon occurred between 2000 and 2005. Between those 5 years.
So that rules out
Okay.
most of the guesses right now, apart from Maria
Well,
and
that's
Wilma.
like we've got about nearly 100 storms that could be in that
Typhoon
category.
Wilma. Well,
No,
clearly
there's
not.
no Typhoon Wilma.
Well,
For
Electric Blue
God's
thinks it's
sakes.
Typhoon Wilma.
Jesus Christ, you need to take a... I don't know. You need to go to a psychologist or
As
something.
David would
Oh,
say,
okay,
you
I
need to
think
take
I
a
have a
cold
guess.
shower.
Is this
What
Typhoon
time?
Guys, let me guess. Is it Typhoon Manny?
No.
Oh,
Well, not very manly for saying
Not-
that.
Not many.
Maybe it's something stupid like Typhoon Mitag.
No, it's not Mitag.
I'm not tagging that in the photo yet.
Why are we
Neither.
sticking with the M
Oh,
names?
Neither is a guess there.
Okay. So. Is it Hodul?
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna guess that next. You.
What
It
was
is
it?
Typhoon Podul of 2001.
It was a
Oh,
category 5,
dear.
if I remember correctly, right?
And then I was gonna say
It was
the
a
other one,
category
which was
5.
Faxai. Good lord.
So it looks like the viewers have won 4-1.
The team has won 4-1 indeed. I'm
Team
very
ended.
sorry, viewers. I mean, you know, what can I say? Wikipedia there at the end, I saw.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's not right.
I'm not guessing with Wikipedia, dummy.
Yeah, that's my
2009 Pacific hurricane season. Nobody said any storm of 2009 season.
Well, guess what? It's time for us to end.
It's time for me to go to bed.
We've been here for so
Just
long.
kidding.
We've spent so long putting together the content for Hurricane Week 2016, and we really hope you enjoyed it. It's not been quite the spectacle I was hoping for, at least initially, because of lots of work that was planned but never came to fruition due to a variety of reasons leading up to Hurricane Week. But the main
Hurricane
feature,
Matthew.
and Matthew, of course. The main feature, of course,
Hurricane
as you've
Otto.
seen, was wonderful, and it consisted of, what was it, well over 6 hours of content in total. We've been here for 3 tonight, and yeah, I don't think there's much else for me to say apart from how I hope you've enjoyed Hurricane Week this year. And guys, any closing thoughts from you?
Well, it was a great
awesome
week.
Yes, well done.
Definitely the best yet.
You
Definitely
think?
the best.
Oh, that's good to know. That's reassuring.
Well, I must say that
Let's
it
do
was
this
the
again
best
sometime.
so far. And
Maybe we should do
really
top 100 tropical storms.
Oh no,
Surprise.
that's gonna be.
Well, that'd be interesting. I think Mars.
But that's gonna be horribly laborious for me to animate 100 tropical storms.
Yeah, that's better.
We'll put Colin at number
That's been good,
101.
The top
so it's
100
off the
worst
list.
storms.
Colin at 101.
The cat's petting me right now. Oh, little cat.
You have to have Bonnie in there. You can't forget about
Where's
Bonnie.
Gaston?
on the
He's
screen.
Gaston.
No, not that.
It's
cat.
Gaston's mother. It's Gaston's mother.
Let's talk about that one later.
In the
I'm
meantime,
glad she's my dog.
Force 13 will be around in the future, and we're going to be doing a lot of more live events in the future, we hope. What we're planning to do, believe it or not, is at some point we're planning to bring us towards doing one live event every day, or nearly, just for an hour or two, and covering different subjects, and there's going to be a lot more information on that coming up. You can follow
Oh, God.
Force 13 on Facebook and Twitter at any time. Just search Force 13 all in text. I can hear everyone in the background, what's going on over there. I'll turn Skype down, but thanks everyone for joining us, by the way. And we'll see the whole team again soon. But for myself, Nathan Foy, and on behalf of all the rest of the team who have taken part and who have just been watching from the sidelines, thank you all, and we'll see you again soon, probably in 2017, and hopefully we'll have Hurricane Week 2017 to talk about in the not too distant future. That's all from me and the team. Goodbye for now. It's been fun.